Oh, welcome to Good Friends, Good Games. It is September 24th. We got a lot to unpack, boys. Look at Dill up in the corner. Dill on my virtual left. He got the piece. I think he's frozen. I can't. He's really good at that. Holy crap! I literally thought his camera froze. I'm like, God damn.
Yeah, I saw his tongue wiggle a little bit. Don't ask why I was looking at it, but
why were you looking at my tongue?
I don't know. You were sticking it out.
What the hell? I was gonna full screen Zen when he was gonna explain himself, but then I realized my camera's still on the screen too, so it would just look weird. But
picture Eric.
I was gonna do that whole Office thing where they zoom in on the face or whatever when he looks at the camera. It's like zoop.
Dun, 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 dun,
yeah, pretty much.
Dun, 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 dun.
Pretty much. I just came up with this great idea for Halloween where if we did a Halloween episode, we could do the Office, but we'll just Photoshop the talking head background behind all of us.
Yeah, do that.
But we'll figure out what's going on. Guys, welcome everyone. If you're listening on Apple, Spotify, we appreciate you, or whatever your listening platform of choice is. If you're watching us on twitch.tv, we appreciate it. We're glad you're here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start on a small little somber note before we shift gears here. It's sad to say, and it's hard because this one kind of hits me personally a little bit, but a dear member and dear friend of our community here who also helps out with this podcast, Carla, her father passed away last weekend. So she's going through a rough time right now, and sadly, I know exactly how she feels. So it's rough, and my heart and prayers go out to her and my condolences, and I've talked to her, and they're trying to navigate all this stuff. They have set up a GoFundMe to help cover expenses, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to post that in the chat here. If you would like to go ahead and contribute that. If you can't contribute to that, feel free to pass it around, share amongst, family, friends, et cetera. Every little bit helps. And then I'll also post it on the episode here when they go live
Perhaps we can have someone share every half an hour for us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Morgan, if you could kindly handle that in there, we'd appreciate it very much. Heart goes out to Carla.
Yeah, I know Morgan has something to do, I think in a couple of hours or an hour and a half or something like that. So if anyone else is able to help as well. Yeah,
that would be much appreciated. So on that note, heart and prayers go out to her. We appreciate her. And I bring it up because I think amongst all of us that work on this podcast here, Carla's touched, our lives in each individual. Before we even came together and started working together like this, she was always in our individual streams. She was always, very active in all of our streams and our communities. And she's like a glue. She's like a glue that you don't always hear from, but she's there in some way, shape, or form. So she's a special person, and prayers to her while she goes through, this rough one. How was your guys' week, your 2 weeks?
Kind of a roller coaster, honestly.
Kind of a roller coaster? Oh yeah, we got a whole roller coaster episode today. This is gonna be, we got a whole thing which we'll go through. How about you, Zenith? What you been up to?
Well, what I've been up to, I've been grinding my axe.
Oh.
And also playing some games.
Gonna say.
Grinding your axe? Okay. Is that different from
busy.
The other weapon of choice you showed us a few minutes before stream? Is this different? Yes. Is this axe for...
that was proverbial. But that is just me just ready to go to war on this. Well, not go to war on, but I was ready for this podcast.
We were sitting there talking about, we're like, we'll talk about it for a few minutes and da-da-da. I don't think we can talk about it for just 5 minutes. I don't think it's gonna happen. But speaking of axes and swords, Pal has gotten into Game of Thrones. She had never watched it, never nothing. She vaguely knows of it, and now she's invested. She's all in.
I still haven't watched a single episode.
Really?
Yeah. I think maybe the big thing that's kept me from getting into it is for a while it was because I didn't have the beats to watch it, but now it's
oh, okay, that
I heard about that final season, maybe I shouldn't.
Just watch up until season 7, you'll be fine.
Yeah, it's like I would say 7. You need to watch 7 because you get the long night and all that. So you got to watch 7. It's a little bit of a drag, but
that's what I've been told. So
yeah, you got to get through the long night. But everything up through season 3, chef's kiss.
Yeah, that's good.
So yeah, she's on that whole thing. I've been watching the latest one, that House of the Dragon or whatever that is. It talks about like the Targaryen legacy before. It's like 200 years before Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
The incest that runs rampant in
Jesus
these, like during this time period of these. I don't know if any of that is like historically like accurate or whatever. You know, I don't know if it's historically inspired in any way, shape, or form. But like the incest that goes on in these stories is insane.
George R. Martin, what the fuck is going on in your head, buddy?
It makes you question a lot of shit where you're like, what the hell's going through this guy's head? But they said that a lot about Stephen King too, you know. Before we press vote here, fun fact, you know, Stephen King was doing an interview about it. If you don't know, spoiler alert, in It, the book, these teenage kids, basically, they say the technical definition is that they have a small orgy with each other.
Huh?
But it's more like teenage kids, you know, getting together and they like, how do you put this?
I don't think it's a good way to put it.
Wow. It's kids that, you know, stuff happens. Kids get into it and they explore themselves sexually, etc., you know. But the crazy thing
FBI, open up.
Yeah, like Zenith's face right now is just like, what the hell am I hearing? But he did an interview and he said it's funny how out of all the messed up stuff that happens in that book, kids getting murdered and stuff like that, and, you know, father abuse and things like that, adults worry about teenagers having sex.
Oh, yes.
So it's like, you know. But the incest thing, I'm like, what the hell? Wild. Like, okay.
Damn.
Just getting right into it.
Yeah, like the incest thing is nuts to me. But, you know, like, they're teenagers. You know, we're dumb and naive to think teenagers aren't going to have sex. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, but like, the incest thing, we know it's like, that ain't right. That ain't normal. But,
yeah. As I always like to sing to my friends, Sweet Home Oklahoma.
Jesus Christ. Oh, we got to. So what in the chat here just said, this is the first episode where I'm dumbfounded. So on that note, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to shift back into, I'm going to get back on the road here.
Back into the normal.
We're going to get back to normal here. So grinding your axe. Yeah, we're going to have a lot to unpack here. As for me, no, just doing a lot of reading. I've been getting ready for Halloween season here. So I'm reading a lot of scary books.
Time.
I'm sure we're doing Pow and I do our Halloween movie like month where we start watching random Halloween movies. I've been trying to locate this movie called Pinocchio's Revenge. It's some B-level horror movie that was like straight to video or something.
Pinocchio at one point in the public domain?
Good question. That's how they're doing that.
It might be now.
They're doing a Winnie the
Pooh one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Winnie the Pooh horror thing, and like, I refuse to watch the trailers. Like, please don't ruin my childhood.
Were you a big Winnie the Pooh kid growing up?
Yes, I was.
Yeah.
I watched the movies too, so
mine was like Winnie the Pooh and Paddington Bear when I was growing up.
Paddington Bear, yeah.
And then Pow and I go on library dates where we go to all these big libraries, like old, you know, in LA and stuff like that. We go to these old libraries, and like Pow's been telling me, she's been educating me on Corduroy the bear.
Aww.
And how she grew up on Corduroy.
I was Barney the dinosaur. I was I don't think you guys had this, but we had Mr. Dress Up.
That one I don't know.
No.
Yeah, that one was great. And Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers is a big one.
I never grew up watching Mr. Rogers, mainly because I don't think we had it in the UK.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Do you guys have Sesame Street though, right?
Oh yeah,
we had
Sesame
that.
Street.
We had that.
Okay, interesting. Yeah,
and the Muppets as well.
Hell yeah, the Muppets.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Henson's studio. I didn't take you there, Dill, but where we were up in Hollywood there, Jim Henson Studios, where they actually make like the puppets and everything, is literally like 2 blocks down.
That's cool.
Yeah, they got like Kermit statue up in the front and everything. It's pretty neat. But yeah, Mr. Rogers and all that stuff. But yeah, I grew up on that. All right, let's go ahead and let's talk about some games because we have a lot to unpack this episode, like a whole lot. So we're gonna shift gears here a little bit, and we'll go to Dill.
Me?
Yeah, Dill's got Dill. You did some game completing over the week.
2 weeks. Yeah, I obviously the last time I talked, I finished up a Plague Tale Innocence. The next game game series that I got into was the Hitman Trilogy. For those who don't know, the Hitman Trilogy is created by IOI Industries. They're also the next project they're working on is a James Bond game, which does intrigue me. But they did the entire Hitman Trilogy. It's basically like a trilogy of like 6 missions in each game, where your objective is to assassinate targets basically in each mission, and you get rewarded, points, levels, depending on how you kill them, if you follow like a certain storyline, if you kind of like do special kills or anything like that on them. And then you get points taken away from you if you harm anyone that's not the targets as well, which is quite interesting. So it encourages you more to try and focus on the targets rather than random citizens and people in the way. So yeah,
the first game's really hard, right? Like I remember the first one being, I don't know if they did, because you played like a trilogy. Did they remake the trilogy or remaster the trilogy?
No, this is like a new set of games they released throughout the 2010s.
Oh, okay. So this is not the.
No, this is not like Blood Money or anything like that.
Yeah,
it's like
old
one. No, this is like an entirely new series that they did. I think the last game came out in 2020 or 2021. The Hitman 3, which is the one I'm currently on right now, basically.
Is it still Agent 47, I think it was?
Yeah, it's still Agent 47. He has quite an interesting storyline in this one, honestly, where like it's tied up with like an old friend of his from his past, and they kind of like, as you go through each game, you learn more about Agent 47, his past, and his like how he's linked to this person who's like at first the villain of the story, but then becomes more like a friend and ally and everything. It's got quite an interesting storyline.
I might have missed this when I was looking at the chat, but so like, do they, when you go to tackle, like, kill the ambassador or whatever the thing is, is it more like a clear-cut path on how to do it, or are you more free reign to like wander about and do it how you want?
So there's multiple paths that you can take. Okay. They've got like story missions that you can follow that you can try and obtain certain items and all, or certain disguises in order to get into areas and follow that path and to get that kill. Or you can just say fuck it and just like go guns a-blazing and just like until you eventually get them.
And I'm guessing they give you some kind of score, like an S+ or something like that, depending on how you tackle the mission.
They give you points on your total level. Each mission has a max level of 20, basically.
Okay.
And so like the better that you do and the more missions you complete and the more like objectives you complete, the more experience points you get and the higher your level gets. And then if you want to do a replay for the mission, the more you unlock to like redo it to try and do something different as well, like a new location to spawn in, new items to use, new disguises as well. As it's interesting.
Do you need to do some of them require you to unlock certain weapons to like achieve the mission itself?
Some objectives do, yes. So you have to do a first playthrough in order to complete some of the objectives.
It's kind of yeah. Okay, I get what you're getting at here, because that was the Star Wars game, that Jedi. The Jedi Fallen Order, right? And like you go to one planet, but you can only go so far. But if you were good enough to survive that planet, they gave you a weapon that makes the rest of the game much easier.
Yeah.
So that was the route I took, where I was like, ooh, and then I got to this point where he's like, yeah, you can't go no further, and I'm like, well, damn. But he's like, here's this weapon, and I'm like, sweet. And I busted for hours on that thing.
Yeah, dude, that game was great. I need to go back to it and do like a grandmaster playthrough just to say like how difficult it actually is.
It's like on my backlog of things to finish because like I'm done with the game, but I'm close to that platinum or that
I
100%
played it in 2020 or 2021. I can't remember which year, but I played it like a few years ago.
I'm gonna try the How much is the Hitman Trilogy?
If you have Game Pass, it's on there. The trilogy.
Oh, Game Pass. I downloaded the Game Pass to try some of that Starlight Valley.
That's why I'm playing it. Yeah.
I was gonna do stuff on Starlight Valley this week, but I kind of shifted more into a well, after I saw the all the showcases, I kind of shifted gears and went to like a backlog finishing. Like I'm gonna finish a backlog and kind of make room for myself here. But Hitman Trilogy, look that up on Steam here.
It's expensive, I think.
Hitman Trilogy Premium. It's $60.
Yeah.
$60 for how many games? 3?
So you get 3 games. If it's the premium one, you probably get access to all the extra content, including DLC that was in the second one. Plus, each game has like 6 main missions.
Yeah, that's what it's all here. Yeah. Full collection, $60 on Steam. Hitman Trilogy Premium. Go ahead and check that out. Zenith. Oh, and wait, and then you also finished Spider-Man, right, Dill?
Yeah, it was Spider-Man. It's my 5th playthrough, so there's not really much to say other than I played it on PC.
Well, like, are you like? What are you doing in these different playthroughs? Like, it's Spider-Man.
I've played this game 5 times. It's still a fantastic game, and they did a great job of porting it over to PC. My only criticism of the game is that obviously when I tried to stream it, it really messed up my OBS, and so I think the problem is it needs optimizing because I played the Hitman Trilogy fine, I played Elden Ring fine, I mean, I played Plague Tale Innocence fine, other than a little problem with the FPS, but once I locked the FPS to 60, it was fine. But then with Marvel Spider-Man, for some reason, whenever I try and streamed it, unless I load everything down, it would cause overloading on my OBS. So, yeah, I mean, it's a good game. So
they just said they were going to do Miles Morales. I think that just came out the other day.
They released a trailer for it. It's going to come out fall this year. They haven't said what date though.
Yeah, so it'll be ready by Christmas. It'll be ready
probably.
I think the issue with the overloading on OBS is because there's just so much movement. Like when you're going from like vertical and swinging around, like the processing causes issues with processing it.
So I just think that if they optimize the game just a tiny bit more, it'll be much more streamable for me.
Which is nuts too, because you're on a 3080.
I got a 3080. I got an i7 processor.
You could run Jurassic Park from your computer.
I can run Elden Ring fine. I can run.
But Spider-Man on PC is quite the. The Raptors won't escape, but
I did test out ray tracing for it as well. Ray tracing was spectacular.
That's
it was
the only
so good.
reason I would double dip is to try the ray tracing. If it comes up on like some sale thing, I'll do it. Like I might do it if it hits like a $30 mark. Because I learned my lesson after last time. I'm not doing this again. Where I'm just like, nope, I already own it.
Yeah. I'm probably going to add the PC port of Miles Morales as well, but I don't know if I'll stream it. I'll probably just play it in my own spare time because after the experience of Marvel Spider-Man, it just, put me off.
Yeah, and they're running on the same engine, so it's probably going to be a similar experience, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. PS5 has ray tracing, right?
It has to be. It does. It has the capabilities, but it has to be available in the game. So the developer has to make it available.
Yeah.
Which it's no different from the PC, but I think more games on PC have it available than the console. But I could be wrong on that front.
Yeah.
Zenith is very light on gaming this week. He's been busy grinding that axe. He did get some Pokemon in between grinds.
Well, aside from like doing my usual streams, like just been doing like a lot of different randomizers. Maybe, if anything, I did practice like Mario 64 speed running on Monday because our power was out from like 10 p.m. until like 3:30 a.m. Like I went to bed and I just woke up and then all of a sudden AC was on, my projector light was on, and it said Bluetooth is now ready to pair. I'm like, fuck off.
You're really hooked on the speed running, aren't you?
I mean, it's Mario 64 is a lot of fun. It's there's a lot of fun stuff you can do with it, especially when you're just going like when you're bouncing off of walls and doing stuff. Like I think my record right now is like 22 minutes.
Damn. I saw some kid at the laundromat with his Switch and he was playing it, and he definitely wasn't our age. He had to be like early 20s, late teens. So I don't know if he's playing it for the first time or what, but he seemed intrigued. He was in there. Like it's fun watching that stuff when like people discover old games like this. That's when I'll never forget Mario 64 because that's the first time you ever heard Mario talk.
Yep.
And we went to Go ahead.
I couldn't remember like the very first time I played it. I was at my friend's place and he said, here, give it a try. And I'm just like, but where do I go? What is this analog stick? And I tried pressing it in one direction and then I started going backwards. I'm like, what the fuck?
That stick is horrible. That N64 analog stick is horrible. But
I've never actually held an N64 controller in my hand.
Really?
Yeah, never. My first console was like it looks awkward.
From a generation that been solely like, if you're coming from a generation that's solely dual analog stick, like PlayStation 2 and up,
because it's just like one analog stick right in the middle, and the rest of the buttons are like all over.
You literally hold it like a dagger, like you're gonna stab yourself. It's quite like disturbing if you think about it. I think that's
why it was a good job that I went on to the GameCube. First for my first mainstream console, because that one's a lot more of a simpler controller.
Right. I remember, I'm aging myself here, and people know exactly how old I am when I talk about this. So when when the N64 came out, the local Blockbuster had it on display to try it. Ooh. And we were like, I was like, we got to try this Mario because Mario's 3D. And then someone at school said he talks. So we went to the local Blockbuster. There they go. They had it on display. And then you start the game and you hear that, it's me, Mario. And you're like, what the fuck?
He speaks.
Like he talk. And then you figure out the little thing where like you can grab his nose and like doorknob it, like bong or whatever, doorstop his nose.
I love doing that with my first playthrough.
Stretch his eyes out, all kinds of weird stuff. And it's just like, I mean, it truly is probably one of the most significant games ever made. To take Mario and just put him in this 3D world when you've been seeing him on the side for so long. I'll never forget the N64. It's nuts. Like, just standing. And there was a line at the Blockbuster to do this. To, like, try the N64. And then I got one. I think I got one for, like, Christmas or something that year. If I remember. It was either Christmas or, like, my next birthday I had an N64.
My first Nintendo console was a Game Boy Advance for my 6th birthday.
I had one of those too. I played that. I had that in my bag during my college days.
I had Famicom and Japanese, you could probably... NES.
You have a Famicom? Ooh. Do you still have it?
No. Like we actually ended up giving it away, but that's why, because I didn't realize, because the very first game I got to play was Super Mario Brothers 3, but when you're playing the Japanese version, you don't realize, but there's a bonus, like the stages are different after your first playthrough.
Yeah. They did so much more stuff. Like I don't know. It's a marketing thing. Like here they were like, because Nintendo was still relatively fresh here in the US but in Japan, it was dominating. Do the Canadian Super Nintendos have the colored buttons, or are you guys purple and gray like the US?
Purple and gray. So like we have the exact same systems as the US would have.
Okay, so Dills has the colored buttons with the yellow, blue, I think it is. It's like yellow, blue, and red or something like that.
I think so.
The PAL Super Nintendo.
Yes.
I wanted one of those so bad. That is my favorite like Nintendo console design wise, is the PAL Super Nintendo.
Yeah, I also had one of those like fancy turbo controllers.
Hell yeah, with the little switch.
Yep. And I also had one of those like Super Nintendo cartridges where you can put in your Game Boy and you can play Game Boy games on the big screen.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, hang on. Eric's about to bring out the retro stuff.
He has to shit already?
Yes, he does.
What the hell is that?
Nothing.
All I heard was groaning in my headphones.
Oh, he had his headphones on. Oh, shit.
I'm going to look at the chat right now. I think you guys are shit-talking. If you guys are shit-talking, I'm not going to share this with you.
Don't worry about it.
I'm not going to share this with you because you guys are being mean.
Go on, what is it, Eric?
Look at that. This is what Zenith's talking about right here.
Oh, my.
Look at that. The Super Game Boy, ladies and gentlemen.
The solution for what if you want to play a Game Boy Color game on the big screen.
It does the Game Boy games too. So like you
want to know how iconic that thing is? For me, because when I got it, I think a friend left it with us, and I never saw them again, so we couldn't return it.
Oof!
They left me Link's Awakening.
Nice.
It was my very first Zelda game. My mother helped me beat it. And then after that, my love for Zelda began, because afterwards we played Link to the Past, and then Ocarina of Time, we rented like a month after its rent date until I got it for myself.
Oh, you know what? You know what? I should have got it when I was up there, but I'm going to do it again, so commence your shit talking.
Oh, here we go. He's about to
commence your shit talking. I'll be right back.
He has to take another shit again? What the hell?
Round 3.
It's the beans.
Taco Bell, why?
You guys are jerks. I don't know. I don't even know what you guys are saying, but check it out, guys. We are so close. I have one variant left, but the Game Boy Zelda collection is nearly done.
Oh my. Shit.
Let's go.
Is the third one green by any chance?
No, there's two versions of Link's Awakening. I have the black Link's Awakening, which I think is DX, which was
I thought it'd be like Pokemon.
No, so like the black Legend of Zelda DX, Link's Awakening's DX, I think is color great. Like they added the color and stuff for the Game Boy Color. And then the regular version is just your standard monochrome. But yeah, we're close, guys.
Look at it.
We're close. These are fresh batteries and all. I bought them from the same vendor. But since Dill hasn't experienced this, take that right there. Right.
And then slide
and then it goes boom right there.
Cool.
And then this guy goes right into your Super Nintendo, and then you put it in and you power on the Super Nintendo. It's pretty cool though, because if you plugged it into the Super Nintendo using the Game Boy player, you would get like borders and stuff, like much like they do. You can
change the borders.
Yeah, much like they do with the the Switch Online. You know how they give you the colored borders and stuff.
Oh yeah, it's similar with 3DS virtual console, where like you see the borders for the older games. Because I've played I think it was Yellow and Red on the Game Boy and on like the Game Boy Virtual Console on 3DS, and it shows like that. They really need to bring that to the Switch.
Yeah, but it's really, really cool. Like Zenith said, you could switch the borders and stuff. You could have different borders. I don't know if they had a Pokemon board. I don't remember. I'd have to pull the Super Nintendo out to test it. But you could change the borders and stuff, and it was really cool. These things were great. Now, the follow-up was the Game Boy Player on the GameCube, which let you do the Game Boy Advance games and
Was that
stuff.
the tray? The one that you put your GameCube on and then you plugged it in?
The GameCube sits on top of it, and then the cartridge goes in the front, which... If you have those, aren't hard to find. The player itself isn't hard to find. The disc is rare, and you need the disc to run it. A Game Boy player for the GameCube is literally a couple $100 now complete because that disc is so hard to find. But go ahead.
The other game to kind of segue with the thing that I probably didn't get to mention at all on my list is was Pokemon Yellow. It was my very first experience with Pokemon, and back then that's when Pokemon games were popular. I was about maybe half a year late, and then it grew from that to collecting Pokemon cards. I think one of the first games that I got was Dragon Warrior Monsters, which is kind of like Pokemon, but it was like way harder. Like holy shit, like. Like the final boss took me about like a year and a half, and you have to get lucky.
Jesus.
But what I just finished doing in this past week was I finished my very first Pokemon randomizer Nuzlocke.
Yeah.
Yay.
But it didn't come with without some drama because the very first time I went to the Elite Forum. So I think we mentioned this before, but Pokemon Gold and Silver, you have 8 gyms. You beat them, you go to the Elite Four, you beat the champion. Usually any other game, that's it, you're done. Maybe a bit of post-game content. But this game, you get to go to the entire area, which was in Pokemon Red and Blue, and challenge their gyms as well. And then after that, then you get to go actually challenge...
the ultimate trainer.
Yes, basically Red, or Ash, from Red and Blue. The thing is, though, you go in there, and by the time you're done Kanto, you're like level about mid-level 50s, sub-level 60s, but then he just starts with the level 81 Pokemon, and like, wait a minute, wait a minute.
You just shred through the others?
And the rest of his Pokemon are all like, so it's a level 81 Pikachu, then it's a level 77 Venusaur, level 75 Charizard, mid-70s Snorlax, oh, and level 70 Blastoise, and then I think a level 73 Espeon.
And this is all at the start?
No, this is the final boss.
Oh, okay.
Against,
final boss.
Like when once you've beaten collected like all the badges from like the 2 regions,
Kanto and Johto. Plus, you have to go talk to Oak, and he unlocks the Mount Silver area where you find him. So for me, I was ready to go. Like my final stream, I had I was right at the second last gym, beat it easily. I was ready to go. I had one ace in the hole, and it was a level because it's a randomizer, so like every Pokemon is different. So, and Lugia is the big legendary of Gold and Silver, but mine ended up being an Eevee.
Ooh. I like Eevee.
So, I evolved it into Vaporeon. Because I only had one evolution stone, and it was Water Stone. And which is a good thing, because I lost my Blastoise, I lost my Crobat, I lost my Machamp. I was having a rough time.
Just wasn't going out for you. Wasn't working in your favor.
So, the final gym is basically Gary Oak or Blue. In the game. So it was going smoothly until one of his Pokemon was a Gengar. So I was like, oh, okay, this is vanilla. But then he used Destiny Bond, and I was swapping out Pokemon. I was trying not to lose my Porygon too, but then I accidentally got him with my level 71 Espeon. I was very sad because I was like, okay, I'm very screwed because I have 2 filler Pokemon. One that just knows Blizzard. It's not very strong, super weak to like a couple things. I had my best Pokemon was actually Typhlosion. It was about level 62, but I had to teach it Thunder Punch, otherwise I'd have no thunder. I didn't find a single Pokemon that has like that was electric in my entire
that's messed
randomizer
up.
Nuzlocke.
That is messed up.
Well, like I found them, but you can't catch them because Nuzlocke rules is it has to be the very first Pokemon in every single round.
Yep.
Or it could be like gift Pokemon or stuff like that.
Do they ever patch the randomizers? Like if someone like complains enough and be like, "Hey, I never got an electric one," or like multiple people be like, "Yeah, it's not spawning electric." Do they ever patch it, or is it?
Nope, they don't give a shit.
It's random.
Nice.
Yep, it's just.
Yeah,
I mean, like you can break Nuzlocke rules. I mean, well, like you see electric Pokemon because you're just out in the wild, and then you'll see like a wild Mewtwo, and like, wait a minute.
I faced many of Mewtwo's in my randomizer days.
But you can't obviously catch it like if it's not the first Pokemon they meet. So
that is this is on my list of things to do for the new year. Like it's going to be one of those my gaming resolutions per se is I'm going to actually go and try one of these Pokemon randomizers, one of these Zelda randomizers. And I'm going to see why Zenith is so hooked on these things.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna do it.
To talk about it.
I feel like I feel like a Link to the Past one is probably the one I would do because that's the Zelda I've gone through the most. So like I can remember most of the paths. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So long story short, I got all the way over there. I pretty much basically the two Pokemon that carried my entire thing was a Quagsire. Sorry, three Pokemon was a Quagsire because electric Pokemon can infect it.
Yep.
My Venusaur named Bitch Salad. And Oven the Typhlosion. But what I did for it is because it's a final boss. I actually put on like a heavy metal rendition of like the Red's theme. It was a fun time. Like it was actually very fucking epic. Like I thought I was so screwed because I'm like 20 levels underneath all these Pokemon, but like, he just threw up a bunch of plebs. But except for like a level 77, what is it, Kingdra? That had me worried.
Oh yeah, Kingdra's like the only thing Kingdra's weak to is Dragon, and that's it in that gen.
Yeah, so what I did is I used Venusaur. So like I was thinking, I was like, why am I still using sleep powder? Why am I still using what is it, Flash? But I use actually no, not Flash. Sleep powder and Toxic, and I use those to slowly drain him, and
that's a good strategy.
Yeah. So it was the first time like I actually had to, because Pokemon, if you're just playing it normally, it's probably easy, very, very, very easy.
Right.
Except for maybe the Pokemon Red, because like I remember dying so many times to them.
They were mostly geared towards kids, right? Like they were for skill set and skill level and all. So yeah, they're geared mostly towards kids.
The thing about Red though is he is known as one of the toughest trainers to ever exist in Pokemon history. And he was in Gen 2. One thing I will say, Zenith, I think you should definitely try Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Because... go on.
That's the thing. I have done it.
Oh.
But what I'm also doing is to my online randomizer store, one of the options that I'm adding to the store is where people can redeem me to have all the settings that they want me to play for the randomizer Nuzlocke, but on Heart Gold Soul Silver.
Oh.
And it's 3,000 rupees.
Okay. Have you ever heard of, obviously you've heard of Nuzlocking, Nuzlocke randomizing. Have you ever heard of hardcore Nuzlocking?
Hard what?
Hardcore Nuzlocking.
Sounds like porn, but go ahead.
Yeah, so this is the situation we got into the last time where it said nutlock or whatever it was.
This is something that I'm probably going to try myself next year sometime. Basically, a hardcore Nuzlocke of a Pokemon game is similar to a Nuzlocke rules, except you cannot use healing items in battle. So you can only use healing items outside of battle. There's a level cap for each gym, so it has to be capped at a certain level, and they can't go any higher. Obviously, I don't know if there's any few more rules. You can probably add some more rules or anything like that, but it basically makes it even more challenging because you have to actually try and strategize better or anything like that. It's something that I'm looking to probably try and sometime next year, just out of like sheer masochism, honestly.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing at the chat because someone said hard nut nuzlocking. And then someone Morgan mentioned the Contra hard cops, and then that was a throwback to what, episode 3 or 4?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good times, but yeah, it's on my. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try one of these randomizers. I'll try a Pokemon. I you know what? I think I need to get to a Pokemon first. Like I need to just I'm waiting for my analog pocket. Like it's supposed I'm in the quarter 3 group, so hopefully it shows up in the next month or so.
I think a good one for you to probably start with for a Nuzlocke or like a randomizer would probably be Fire Red and Leaf Green, because they're quite like an easy one to get into.
That's the one everyone goes on about. Like those two seem to be the whole, like that, and like you said, the Heart Gold and the Soul Silver seem to be the holy grail Those are the Pokemon Grails.
Mm-hmm.
It's
here.
You
just have 151. You're fine.
Yeah. I mean, Soul Silver is my favorite Pokemon game of all time. So
you imagine like the guy that's got to sit in a room and like make up these names. Yeah, we need 200 more, and then you're like, oh crap.
Well, we got Scarlet and Violet next, and then I don't know if they're going to do a third game or if they're going to do DLC. They never did Pokemon Gun because
they're going to start naming them after celebrities. Watch, like they're going to run.
Oh my god. Pokemon Tom and Pokemon Zendaya.
I found a Nick Nolte.
Pokemon Adam Levine.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
This game is absurd.
Do you use them to cheat?
Oh. You name your Pokemon after Mistress.
You know what? Of all the stupid things people do, I'm sorry, this has nothing to do with video games, but like of all the stupid things people do, right? You're cheating on your wife, but then you want to tell your wife, yo, I want to name our kid after the girl I'm sleeping with. That's not you. Yeah. Like, what the hell, man?
I don't know.
Stupidity. So on my front, I'm in what I like to call backlog mode right now. So like I'm trying to clear out the stuff that has been kind of just sitting. So like I'm finishing up Horizon Forbidden West. I'm gonna platinum the thing. I've got like 2 or 3 more objectives to go, and then I can go finish the game and call it a day.
How is that game? Because I've had it since like March and I've not touched it yet.
I know me and Hannah touched on this a bunch of times before we started this show, but like, did you play Zero Dawn?
Yeah, I did.
To me, Zero Dawn, while it's not a perfect game, Zero Dawn I think is the better game.
Okay.
It's a little more cohesive in story. It's a little more, direct. And to me, it had the right balance of things to do in terms of like side quests and stuff like that versus main quests. Where this game appears to me at least to be better in terms of physics and combat and stuff like that. But it's just loaded with content vomit. Like you load up the map and there's an exclamation point every like inch. Oof. And in the game, an exclamation point activates some kind of side quest or errand or something like that. It's just so much crap to do in this game.
It feels like Assassin's Creed Odyssey because there was a lot to do in that game.
Yeah, it's about that. Most of these people are platinum this thing in like 80 hours.
Oh,
because it's so much crap to do. You have to, and then a lot of the stuff they give you has nothing to do with like the story itself. So like there's one of them is like melee training. Like I have to go do all these melee trainings to get a trophy to beat this guy. You get a trophy, right? Then there's an arena pit where you have to fight a bunch of the machines you fought in the game, and you have to do it in a time frame using a loadout that they give you automatically. And it's like, what the hell? And then there's like machine racing, like Mario Kart style machine racing, where you have to like knock them off their machines and stuff to get first. And I'm like, God. Yeah, I'm like, okay, there's too much crap in this game. There's literally too much crap. And then you get to this, and then you have to go do the side missions and the loyalty missions for these people that are on your team, which the loyalty missions, I will say, were pretty cool. I wish it was more of that stuff. And then if you didn't do them in the first game, there's more, what did they call that thing? Why is it just drawing a blank for the hunting trials, like the hunting challenges? Oh, yeah. There's 4 sets of hunting trials, and these things are a nightmare because they're glitched. One of them, you have to blast the husk off like one of the tremor. Like you have to blast the husk off it, right? The problem is you have to shock him first. That's part of the rules. Shock him and then blast the tusk off. Well, if you shock him and the tremor goes to the ground, the tusk through glitch go digging under the ground. And then you can't hit them with the arrow to blast them off. So that took me several tries.
Jeez.
So I don't know. I loved the first game. I thought the first game was great. The second one, you might like it if you like a lot of content.
I probably will like it. I just it's just been sat on my desk for a long time because I just haven't gotten around to playing it yet. I've just been busy.
You've been on Elden Ring. Elden Ring came a week later, right? And you're like,
oh, that's the thing. That's why I didn't play it. I didn't get the game to my birthday, which is like a month later. But because Elden Ring was more my top priority, I prioritized Elden Ring. I was a bit put off playing it after I saw some of the devs of like Horizon Forbidden West shitting on Elden Ring. I was just like, just be kind.
Stop releasing games a week before mega releases. Stop.
Freaking. If you don't want that to happen again, release it at a different month. Release it in March.
There's a running gag that they're gonna be like, "What Horizon 3 is gonna come out like a week before Elder Scrolls 6."
Elder Scrolls 6, yeah.
That's like that. Their timing is just like boom. But I did a couple of games of the Call of Duty beta last night.
Oh yeah.
I was going to do it on Friday, which leads me to my next game I played was Controller Repair Simulator.
Yes.
So my DualSense or DualShock 5, whatever it is now, the PlayStation 5 controller, I noticed I was playing and the right trigger just went completely spongy. Like no tension, no nothing, no kickback, anything. It just felt loose. And I noticed too, like the slightest touch would activate that thing in the game. So like if you're shooting with R2, the slightest touch will fire off the gun. And I was like, what the hell's wrong with this thing, right? So I start messing with the controller and I realized the left trigger is far more has far more tension than the right one. So I do some digging and everyone seems to be like, well, there's a spring that's loaded in this controller and the spring is broken. I'm like, okay, cool. I don't want to pay 70 some odd dollars for a new PlayStation 5 controller. I'm going to give this a shot. So surgery commenced, and I saved it right here for you guys. It's going to be very, very difficult to see, and you can't even see it. But there's a tiny little screw or a little spring. It's like a curlicue, like a pigtail, literally like yay big. It's a little curly, and this thing, like half of it broke. So a complete one. The complete one has two legs like that. And half my leg broke. So that's why the controller wasn't bouncing back. These things are not designed to be taken apart. Like in any way, like you can take them apart. It's doable.
So is it like the equivalent of a Mac?
Kind of. So in the old days, go ahead.
So you didn't break your controller from an accidental butt wiping incident, like what Dylan and I were theorizing.
No, I didn't shove the controller in my ass to scoop out whatever was in there.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, like it didn't break that way. There was no shit lodged in the R2 trigger, but
maybe it broke the spring.
Just go back to the parts that you weren't here for.
Yeah. So I go and I take the controller. These things, you can take them apart, but they're designed to not be taken apart. So I had to go order like one of those cell phone kits to take the lift the screen. So, it's called a spludger. It's basically a flat edge that you use to pry parts open, right? I had to get one of those. I had to get the springs. The springs were like 15 for $5. So I'm like, okay. I ordered 15 of them because I'm like, they're springs. They're going to fly everywhere.
Boing.
Let me tell you, you have to. So the obvious thing is like, oh, the spring sits on the side of the trigger, like on a little latch. The thing is like, okay, I take the trigger module out, put the spring in, and then put the trigger module back. You have to take the whole controller apart just to get those things out.
Jesus.
Like down to the board, down to the plastic shell. Because it's like stacked. There's the battery, there's the board, then there's the modules that hold the thing. And then there are solder points on the board of the controller. So if you accidentally yank too far and you break a solder point, that controller's toast unless you know how to solder. And
which I guess you do?
I haven't done it in forever. It's doable. But I spent it probably took me 30 minutes because you had to tweezer it. Like I had to get a pair of tweezers and like load the spring and then grab it with the tweezers and like put the tension to fling it into.
I'm surprised Eric didn't record it and then upload it, honestly, because that would have been quite an interesting thing to watch.
It was like 2 in the morning, and I'm like, I could do this, but like I'm half asleep, which is probably the first mistake I'm making, like doing this. But it's like I want to start, finishing up this game, so I went with it. But it's doable. So from what I understand, the red or the pink and the blue and the purple ones, those have stronger springs in them. They fix the problem, supposedly. Okay. They put a stronger spring in there.
I bought the Midnight Black one. So I'm guessing that probably has the stronger springs in it.
It should. By now, I think most of them should. But if like mine was a launch release PS5, so I'm on like the first gen of everything. And it it lasted 2 years, but this is the first time I've ever broken a PlayStation controller.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's the first time anything's ever failed in me, and it was a 2-cent part.
Yeah.
But it saved me $80. I was like, this is either going to be a cheap repair or going to be an expensive day. But I got the controller back up and running. It works. Everything's fine. The springs I bought aren't as there's not as much tension as the other one, so I don't know what that is. Like it's probably just a brand of spring or whatever, but it works and I'm fine with it. If it breaks again, screw it. I'll go buy a new one. Like I'm not gonna do this again.
That's fair enough.
But and then I went on and played some Call of Duty Modern Warfare beta. It's open for the PlayStation people. If you you can play it. There's not much to go on about. It's Call of Duty. I only got a couple games in. It seems to be running fluid. It seems to feel okay.
I watched one of my friends play it. It looks basically just like any standard Call of Duty multiplayer, level up weapons and everything like that. It looks okay.
It's a Call of Duty. I haven't touched it enough. The one thing I'm not liking is I don't like the what's that thing they're calling it now? The trigger feedback or whatever. Like you press the trigger, it's supposed to feel like the tension of a gun.
Yeah.
I forget what they call it, the haptic feedback, whatever it is, the trigger feedback or whatever. I'm not liking it for this.
Okay.
It feels like weird to me, and it throws off like your reaction time almost because you have to put more pressure on it. I don't know if I could turn it off or not, but it's just a weird feeling. It's probably something I'm just not used to. And I'm kind of like, I don't know how I feel about this, but we'll try it some more. It's available through the rest of the weekend if you're interested. If you're on PlayStation, you can go play the beta now. I think PC players, I think they start on the 26th. I could be wrong.
If you've pre-ordered, you get early access on PC.
Okay, if you pre-order. So, pre-order, cancel your pre-order, then go play the beta, But we'll see what happens. It's a COD. There's not much more to go on about it. It's another COD. It's another day in the wheelhouse for them.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they've said now they're going to start spacing out the yearly release of Call of Duty, and I'll make it every 2 years, which I think's better.
Yeah, which needs to be done. So that's it from me. Anyone else got anything on the game front?
I'm going to be starting to play horror games soon.
Hell yeah! Are you going to do the Resident Evil DLC?
Yeah, I'm going to be resuming Resident Evil month that I started last year. I went for Resident Evil 1 to 3. This year
1 is so damn hard.
Yeah, 1 took me the longest. 1 took me about, I think, 20 to 24 hours to beat in total, which was, I think, the most time I've put into a Resident Evil game so far, excluding Village, I think.
Can I buy the DLC pack now yet, or
yeah? There's a thing where you can buy the winter's Is it
expansion. Under if it go to Steam and
it's
I go under Village?
Its own category, so you have to try and search for it and under its own category if you want to purchase it.
I see. Okay, so it's not like I can't go to Resident Evil Village and see it in the list. Okay, that's why I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's on my list of things to buy. Because
I'm
stoked.
I love Resident Evil 8. It was really good.
Village was fantastic. Lady D can do whatever she wants to me.
Well then. Okay, guys. Here's a serious question here. 7 or 8?
In terms of being better?
Yeah, which one's the better one?
7's the better horror game. 8's the better action game.
It's on point. 7 is
very,
creepy.
very well put.
Yeah. 7 is so the only thing creepy about 8 is the beginning when you're out in the snow and it's all quiet and you don't know what's going on.
Not just that, but also the freaking house area where you go in the house with the giant fetus baby. That is the scariest
was creepy.
Part.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
That was like, okay, this is not even Resident Evil. What the fuck is going on?
That was creepy.
That was some Silent Hill shit.
Yeah, that one creeped me out. But 7 is just classic, like cannibal Texas Chainsaw looking. Like,
yeah,
what a great game. I hope they go more back to it. Back to that, which we'll talk about the Capcom showcase shortly here. Okay. Since we have nothing else here, let's make a decision here. Do we want to take the break now? We're about 40. Oh, we're actually an hour in. So we'll go ahead and we'll take the break. Yeah, we'll take the break and then we'll go into the meat and potatoes of everything here. So you are listening to Good Friends, Good Games, and we will be back shortly with the news. Welcome back to Good Friends, Good Games. We just talked about what we were playing. Light gaming week, but not light in the news. All right, boys, you ready? Hold on, Zenith. Everyone's getting there. I got my water bottle.
More than ever.
He's ready.
More than ever. I am ready.
Dill's on fire today, ladies and gentlemen. Dill is on fire. Okay, we have a lot of stuff to cover here, so let's get to the most relevant first.
Where the fuck are you getting all these things?
They're on my desk always.
If you don't know,
if you keep your like Bad Dragon dildo squeaky toy on there as well.
Somewhere, yes.
For those of you that are in the listening world right now, Zenith is holding a gigantic sword. Dill has a height button, and he's got a pixel pizza in his hand, and apparently some other squeaky toy at his desk.
I have the God of Time as well.
Oh, good. He's got the God of Time. So, Dill's prepared. We've got everything we need to get through this discussion.
Yeah.
So here we go. Okay. Where do we even start with this?
Eric, you know what it reminds me of? Celebrity Jeopardy, where like it's the next round, and then he's like, "And where is your podium?" And why are you wearing a giant hat?
Is that SNL sketch? Oh god!
Oh my god!
And he apparently changed his name to Turd Ferguson.
Oh god, I love that sketch.
Oh my
so
god.
Good.
I'm glad we can I'm glad we can turn this whole thing upside down and just make it lighthearted. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Where do we even start with this? All right, Twitch has got some problems. We'll just with nitty gritty. We're gonna kind of nail some of this stuff here, and we'll give our opinions on it. Twitch has got some problems right now, so I'm gonna start with the most. They're both issues. There's not one simpler or anything. They're both issues.
One simple.
Okay,
thing.
so the first thing to come out of the Twitch camp, there was a gambling scandal. I'm pulling up the article here. This is out of Kotaku. So, the situation with Twitch gambling. Apparently, they had a streamer. I'm not going to name these names because, quite frankly, they don't deserve to be named. Anyway, but there's a Twitch streamer that had been scamming viewers and peers out of an alleged $200,000 in value to fund his Counter-Strike gambling addiction. So if you don't know, Counter-Strike has this whole thing, loot boxes. You buy these loot boxes, you can get rifle skins, and charms and all kinds of, useless crap in your game. So this guy was scamming these people out of upwards of $200,000 to fund this addiction. What this did is this in turn had led to a meeting of the Twitch powerhouses.
Mm-hmm.
These upper echelon of streamers, we're talking tens of thousands of viewers a stream, hundreds of thousands of viewers a stream, echelon of broadcaster, gathered together to talk about how they wanted to have Twitch ban gambling, or they would issue their own kind of strike and not stream.
Yeah.
This in turn caused Twitch to buckle, and now Twitch has issued this statement, which you can find on the Twitch blog, that basically says they are going to ban gambling, keyword, from the following pretenses. These are basically, they are banning unsanctioned websites. So I'll pull up the Twitch blog here real quick. This all happened what's wild about this, guys, is you hear about this. All of this stuff we're talking about all happened within the span of 48 hours.
Yeah.
Give or take.
Roughly. It was like, ugh.
Twitch PR was they were on an all-nighter, boys. Okay.
Yeah, basically within 24 hours, someone was like, "Hey, Twitch did a good thing," and then they did not.
Yes.
So
they
I'm
always say one step forward, 2 steps back.
I'm going to go through the gambling blog here real quick. You can find this on the Twitch Twitter and also on the Twitch blog. Gambling content on Twitch has been a big topic of discussion in the community and something we've been actively reviewing since our last policy update in the area. I'm shortening this here. Too long, didn't read. So we'll be making a policy effective October 18th to prohibit streaming of gambling sites that include slots, roulette, or dice games. Keywords here that are not licensed in the U.S. or other jurisdictions that provide sufficient consumer protection. So these sites include stake.com, rollbit.com, duelbits, and roobet.com. Or roobet.com. However, we may identify others as we move forward. We will continue to allow websites that focus on sports betting, fantasy sports, and poker. We will share specific updates to our gambling policy soon, including a full policy language to ensure everyone is clear on our new rules before they take place October 18th. So, the too long didn't read. They are banning unsanctioned sites from the platform. So, this was the first thing in the Twitch debacle here. So, obviously, this is worded to make it look like they're doing the good thing, like, oh, we're banning all gambling. That's not true.
No,
that's a problem in itself. So how do we navigate this conversation here? So I guess the real question is, should have they gone all in, or is this sufficient enough? The unsanctioned
I don't think they
enough?
could go all in, mainly because Twitch has started making deals with places like NFL and everything like that, so I don't think they could have gone completely all in on it, but they can at least get rid of the ones that are more unsanctioned, that are a bit more of sketchier websites. They can stop referral link and code links for these websites as
which
well.
Which is the big problem.
Which is the big problem, and that gets people like hooked on, and like gambling addictions start being created and everything. So while it's not a complete ban on gambling, at least they are trying to filter it, and they're trying to get that down to the ones that are causing the biggest problems. They have said that sports betting, fantasy sports, and poker is still allowed. But they're not as I don't think they're as crippling as slots, roulettes, and dice where you can just like constantly churn in money.
Yeah, if I can interject for a quick little second, it's like a lot of I think I heard on that big call the other day on Tuesday, and they were saying with sports betting and fantasy sports is a lot of the decisions or a lot of the betting goes towards like player knowledge, sports knowledge, what team. So like because with some sports, like you actually have like a really like much higher chance of being correct on something, and you'd normally kind of like go for like the long shot if you're just like, you know what, anything can happen in sports, but at the same time, logic and history would suggest that the chances of this team pulling out a victory against this team, so like last place is first place, is very super low. So obviously you're going to get a higher payout. So
it's the availability of information. So for example,
it's not like it's roulette or slots, right?
Right. So the example being like sports betting, for example, is the quarterback for this team is injured. Obviously, their star quarterback being injured puts a huge impact on their ability to win against this team, who also has a star quarterback. You using that information, if you're educated enough, using that information can help you decipher whether it's a safe bet or not, or minimize your losses. Whereas, so let's step back a bit and let's do some of the background on kind of this stuff. So this gambling thing from these unsanctioned places, they reach out to these large, huge level streamers and they say, hey, sponsor this site will give you a code, etc., and then you play some games on stream, and you get paid and everyone's happy. The thing is that these streamers would make it look like they're winning all of these roulette wheel spins or these dice rolls and all that kind of stuff, when obviously that is not real, because the vendor or the sponsor of that program can go ahead and manipulate those results to make it look like that person is winning on a regular basis. Me, Eric, I have 100,000 viewers a stream, I'm going to sponsor this gambling site. Obviously, they're going to make it look like I win all the time because they hit my code and then the website gets paid.
Yep.
It's the manipulation of, unrealistic. It's the manipulation of results. And that's where that whole clause in a lot of these places come in, where it says results not typical. So that's the huge problem with this. The same thing happened, 5-6 years ago, almost a decade ago, regarding the Counter-Strike stuff, where these guys were rolling and they were making it look like they were getting all these rare, expensive skins worth tens of thousands of dollars, when the reality is that was all manipulated because they own the company. Or
let's also not forget that a lot of these streamers that are doing all these like gambling streams are allowing people like kids under the age of 18 to watch and get involved in this, when there is clear like restrictions on who and who isn't able to gamble. Like, yes, there doesn't have to be the streams should be labeled 18 plus,
right?
But even then, like I know like some people just try and get around that anyways. Like, yeah, sure, I'm 18, despite the fact I'm like 16, and then that becomes the actual legal issue.
And let me I guess Zenith's on the right track with this thing in terms of age regulation. You think. But the reality is, like, example, I could be under 21 and I can go gamble in Vegas, and let's say I win and I'm only 19. If I go to collect, they're going to be like, get the hell out of here. No, because you do have to fill out paperwork if you do win. I'm talking large amounts. If you win amount over a tax bracket, you are required to fill out a form right then and there, and they get paid.
Our gambling age is 19 here.
Okay. 19. So 19, 21 here in the States. I don't know what the UK's is.
18, I think.
Okay, so let's say, for example, I'll use the US since the majority of the audience listening here is the US. So in US, it's 21 and over. These unsanctioned websites.
Yeah, 18.
You're extremely naive if you think these unsanctioned websites are following these rules where it's like, oh, this kid won $100,000. Let's have him fill out the paperwork. Like, no, most of that's probably not happening. Whereas it's something that's actually sanctioned, like a sports betting website of large stature, or Las Vegas, where you go to these betting bookie rooms and stuff. If you win, you're paying your taxes and you're filling out the form to get your winnings. And that's another issue in it. Now, to kind of steer the thing, one of the major complaints among everybody was like, these broadcasters got together and they said they were going to ban it, or they were going to stop streaming and they should ban it, blah, 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 blah. A little mutiny, Twitch mutiny. Where were these big broadcasters during the hate raids and all this kind of stuff? Okay, I'm going to full disclosure here. Obviously, I believe the hate raid stuff and everything is a major problem Twitch has, and that it should be resolved. But in a business sense of this whole thing, the gambling situation puts them in a lot more legal shit than the hate rate stuff does. The hate rate stuff, yes, the hate rate stuff can get extreme, and it can actually turn physically violent towards somebody. Those cases, are for the most part rare. A hate raid happens, they ban the person, and then it tends to keep happening, but they ban the person and then they move on, right?
Yeah.
Whereas this gambling situation, if someone broadcasts this gambling stream and they make the results seem like it's a safe bet and that the odds of winning are extremely high, and someone goes and bets all their income on it and loses their life savings, let's go even down a further spiral. Hey, Jim is showing me he's winning all these games. He's making big cash. I'm getting in on this. I use his creator code. I put all my life savings into it. I lose it all. I get a divorce. It costs me a fortune to go through this divorce. I lose my house. I lose everything. I'm going to go back and be like, why is Twitch sanctioning this? Because it looks like the odds were in my favor. Those are the issues that like Twitch can run into from a legal standpoint. The gambling thing, plus there's paper trails of all this stuff. This is money changing hands.
Yeah.
And also it leaves them open for like an actual like government investigation.
Exactly.
So, like I could see it, but does it exactly leave a good taste in a lot of courageous mouths? No, not really.
No, because most creators, the hate rate and the hate rates and discrimination and all that stuff are much larger issues in their eyes versus this gambling thing. But from a Twitch perspective, when I look at it, the gambling thing is a much larger problem that they have to resolve, because that will put them in a world of crap if something comes back to them. Twitch does not want an investigation from, the IRS and the FBI.
Yeah, because you can pretty much assure them that Amazon would be like getting rid of them like quickly as possible.
Right. If anything, I'm betting anything, some executive at Amazon was like, you need to nip this in the bud now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which will go on to the other stuff we're talking about, because this stuff's all tying in together in some way, shape, or form. It's a big puzzle here. So that was that situation. In terms of that, it turned into some drama about how people were calling out other people. I'm not going to get into any of that stuff because I'm tired.
I don't care about the drama.
I'm tired of these cool rich kids just,
spatting at each other, really.
Spatting at each other. You know what? Get over yourselves.
Yeah.
So that's the big thing there. So that's the gambling situation. They released that blog. Now, next night, 3 and some odd morning of U.S. time.
Yeah, it was 3 in the morning for them.
3 in the morning.
Like 11 for me.
3 in the morning.
I was like wide awake.
3 in the morning. Here's where Twitch drops the bomb. I'm going to go ahead and go through this here. This is also on the Twitch blog. This talks about the partner revenue splits. We talked about this in the last episode, I think it was, or the episode before that, where Twitch was releasing the exclusivity clauses in their contracts. So let's see. This morning we reached out to a subset of streamers about some upcoming changes to their agreement terms. This blog gives us an opportunity to clear this up. Okay, I'm shortening this here. Here's some little ass kissing. Streamers are and always will be the foundation of our global community. It's our passion, hard work, and creativity that makes Twitch the one-of-a-kind place it is. To bring it back to the blog topic here, this is their wording. That's that warm, fuzzy feeling they're supposed to give you, make you feel good about yourself before they tell you. It's like your girlfriend breaking up with you. You're great and all, but I got to talk to you. Okay. Here's some contextual information straight from Twitch. For subscriptions, they use a baseline revenue share of 50-50. So, for example, here, if this channel was partnered, you buy a $5 sub, Twitch gets $2.50, I get $2.50. That's how that works. A larger subset of broadcasters, there's no specifics metrics for this, but the rumor is anyone up in the 500 concurrent subscriber realm and plus had the opportunity to negotiate a contract to what's called a 70-30 split. $5 sub.
I know 2 people with a 70-30 split.
Okay, so 70-30, they exist. They're there. From what I hear, you had to reach out to a partner manager or you had to reach out to Twitch directly to get on this 70-30 plan. So to round out the numbers and make the math easier, $10 sub, Twitch takes $3, you take home $7.
Yeah.
That's a 70-30 split. This blog is basically what they're saying is they are now taking that away.
Yeah.
So for streamers still on these premium deals, we are adjusting the deal so that they retain their 70-30 split revenue after for the first $100,000 earned.
And I think that's also per year.
Per year.
So like
through subscription rates, first 100K new above. Okay, it does not say per year here, but we can assume that. But it does not say specifically in the blog. I'm sure there's some email that they're getting that has this information. But 70-30 revenue share split for the first 100K earned. So this stream makes $100,000 in sub. Twitch is going to take home 30K. We're going to take home 70. That's 70-30 split. Now, after that 100K, the next $100,000 we make, Twitch is now going to take 500K, and then we take home 500K. So if we were 100K in subs, we would be losing roughly $25,000. That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money when you look at these big numbers. So if you look at these streamers that are making $1 million in subs a month, that's a huge hit. You're losing several $100,000.
Yep.
And especially, like, look at YouTube. YouTube's subs revenue split is not talking about their ad split, because ad split is 45-55. But the revenue split is 70-30. OnlyFans is
80-20, right?
80-20.
Yeah, 80-20.
Fan House is 90-10. And even Ko-fi or Coffee is 95-5, or you pay a small monthly fee and you get 100%.
Patreon also ranges from about 3 to about 12% they take.
Yeah,
from there.
So Twitch is the most expensive to do business with, is what we're getting at here. So here's some
however, they were also one of the first ones to have this like revenue split with their. I mean, like, because like back then, like YouTube had where you got money based off of ads. It was like the original Google AdSense, right?
Right.
But and then when Twitch is like, hey, you know, you can get you can get money from subs, and then they introduced bits, they didn't get money from that. But now that YouTube and because like back then, like YouTube, OnlyFans and Fan House and all these other sites weren't really a thing. They didn't really have these revenue share programs. So if anything, the 50-50 split that Twitch has sounds kind of dated, because these are your competition.
Yep.
And if Twitch can't keep up with their competition, especially when they have Amazon, when they're owned by Amazon, they've got a serious problem.
So I'll address some of that. Let me go through the rest of this here to the second half of it, and then I'll kind of address what you're talking about here, at least my opinions on it. So here's the thing. So why not 70-30? When we established the 50-50 revenue split, it was to signal that we're in this together.
Bullshit.
I mean, basically they're saying, hey, we're business partners. We're business partners. I take half, you take half. We're in this together, right? That's what they're basically saying. Right.
Bullshit.
That's basically what we're saying.
Bullshit.
So you do all the amazing work to create great content and engage with your audience and grow communities. On our side of the partnership, it is our responsibility to make continuous investments in the products and people that make your growth possible. This is a reasonable expectation. I'm giving you half of my money. You need to give me the tools and the stability to continue to make that money. That's. I'll touch on that more in a little bit. As of this posting, more than 22,000 have weighed in on User Voice. User Voice, if you don't know, is Twitch's like platform they use to take consumer feedback and broadcaster feedback and stuff like that. In User Voice, asking us to move all streamers to 70-30 and to pay streamers faster. They have done the following. They are rolling out the largest change in payouts in years by cutting the payout threshold half to 50. So before, for those of you that are on the listening side of Twitch, broadcasters had to make up to $100 before a payout would even be triggered. So you would make up to $100, that would trigger a payout, and then in 30 days you would get your pay. Yeah. That is now being cut down to $50. So now I only have to make $50 to trigger a payout.
Well, not yet, because it's being doled out in waves per country. I think the UK just got it, but I don't think the US has it just yet.
So the process will be changing to this $50 trigger.
They're doing it each month. So they started in August, and August or July, and then they've been doling out each month to their various different countries.
Okay, so the end game for this whole thing, though, I guess, yes, it's in waves right now, but the end game is to trigger a payout at $50 for a broadcaster.
Yes.
That, in theory, is supposed to get broadcasters paid out quicker, and allow them to, I guess, if you are doing this full time and living off this income, allow you to, manage your funds better because of the shorter payout periods. And then they go on to some hoopla here. Investments like these are paying off for streamers. Products like Prime subs, gifting, et cetera, have driven to an increase of 27% more streamer revenue. Okay. Okay, 20% more than subs revenue have. So they're saying all these tools that they've provided, ad revenue sharing, Prime sub sharing, et cetera, has put the average of 20% more into a streamer's pocket. Whether that's true or not, I can't attest to that because I don't see those numbers. But here's where, if you're paying attention and you look at this stuff with a business mindset, this is a key important thing here. This is straight from Twitch. If you pay attention, you listen closely, and think of it from a business mindset and look at how they're wording it, you'll get what I'm getting at here and what we're getting at. Lastly, we have to talk about the cost of our service. Delivering high definition, low latency, blah, 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 live video to nearly every corner of the world is expensive. Using the published rates from Amazon Web Services interactive video. Okay, so this is the tool that Amazon uses to broadcast Twitch to everyone in the world. A streamer that streams for to 100 viewers, concurrent viewers, for 200 hours a month costs more than $1,000 a month. So every streamer that's doing 200 hours a month to an average of 100 concurrent viewers is costing Twitch roughly $1,000, according to them, costing them roughly $1,000 a month. We don't typically talk about this because, frankly, you shouldn't have to think about it. We'd rather you focus on doing what you do best. To fully answer the question of why not 70-30, ignoring the high cost of delivering the Twitch service would have meant giving you an incomplete answer. So I'm going to put this in layman's terms for you here, and then the other two here can agree or tack on it. This is basically, if you look at this from a business mindset, this is your boss coming up and telling you, hey, we can't afford to pay you what we were paying you, so we are cutting your pay. Because it's costing us more money to pay you. Or it's costing the company more to run, so we have to cut cost. And we're cutting the cost by cutting your pay. If you look at it from a business mindset, that is what they are telling you.
Hey, Eric. So, yes. My name is Zenith Twitch.
Okay.
I am your boss. Hello.
Hi, boss. It's the first time we've met. I've heard a lot about you. I'm glad I can talk to you. It's a pleasure.
Yeah. So, you helped me build this wonderful platform. You were been here since the very beginning. I think we've been very, generous to you. Taking home 70% of your pay. Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's been a long journey. I appreciate everything Twitch has done. It's had its ups and downs and things. That the site right now are a little rough, but I imagine we can stick it through and pull through and actually turn the ship around. But that being said, what's how can I help you out today?
So, I want you to take a pay cut. You see, you bring in about like $150 grand a year. That's a lot. Yeah. That's a lot.
I work very hard. I work very hard. So why are you taking more of my money? That's what I'm concerned about.
I want you to be making $1,100 instead, because we're all in this together, and in order for us to continue to be a company, by the way, we're great, by the way, we're great.
My
name is Zenith
Twitch. Bleed purple.
Yeah, bleed purple. Put that shit right in your veins. But we're gonna have to ask you to take a $40K per year cut.
That's basically how the conversation. This is the conversation that they are having to all these Twitch broadcasters right now.
Also, please don't leave us.
Yeah, please don't leave us.
It's fine. You can cheat on my wife instead. I
tried to find a thing for bleed purple, but I couldn't find it. So I just apparently pressed the button.
So, Mr. Zenith at Twitch. So what you're telling me right now, if I'm understanding this correctly, boss, what you're telling me is Twitch is no longer bleeding purple; they're bleeding cash.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And but the thing is, though, we can't do what we can unless we make money. So I want you to go outside and start yelling at people and waving a gun in their face if they don't give us more money.
Okay.
But also don't forget to advertise.
Okay, I understand, boss, what's going on here. I understand it's just okay, so if I'm taking a pay cut, what measures are Twitch doing to go ahead and justify the cost or my cut? Like, what are they providing to me in turn for my cut in wages? Like, are they going to provide me more tools to give to my community and allow me to, foster this environment you want and continue to foster this environment you want? Or, what's the situation? Like, what's Twitch providing to me in exchange for this pay cut? Anything?
Frankly, I don't care, but I love watching birds.
Nice bow tie, by the way, Mr. Shear. You like how I took that one? You like how I took? If you don't know, Emmett Shear is the CEO of Twitch.
Yeah.
At least as far as I know still. And he wears a bunch of bow ties.
Yeah. And then like his Twitter account is just about him like watching planes and bow ties. And it's like watching birds and watching planes. And it's like, dude, you don't even care.
By scenario, okay, so scenario role-playing aside, very well done, by the way.
Thank you.
Very well
Sorry
done.
for the air horn. I just had to pay attention.
It's okay. You were my legal representation in this deal, watching this agreement go down. So, okay, so here's the situation. So, yeah, Twitch is basically docking pay for all these large broadcasters over $100,000 and now taking out more, 25% more cut. So, I'm sorry, 20% more. They're taking a 20% bigger cut out of these upper broadcasters over 100K to fund the website. So, I'm going to call out a little bit of bullshit here.
Yeah, I agree.
So, number one, and I'll address some of what Zenith was saying here. So for number one here, the issue of this company is owned by Amazon, this shouldn't be an issue. So this is an argument I hear all the time, and logically, yes, I understand what you're saying, and logically I understand. And logically, I agree a little bit. But from a business standpoint, Amazon is not Twitch's personal piggy bank. Twitch can't just go to Amazon and be like, I need $50 million more dollars. It doesn't work that way. Amazon purchased Twitch as an investment, and they're expecting Twitch to bring in a return on investment. They're not just going to keep throwing money at it.
Yeah. However, did you guys see somewhere that they increased their profits in the last year by 40%?
That I did not see. I did not see that information. But
yeah. So the only thing is...
Wait. Amazon or Twitch?
Twitch.
Twitch increased its profit. Okay.
Yeah. So, because they are... I think they made $1.65 billion in last year.
There's a specifics there. Did they actually take home $1.65 billion in profit, or did they take that in revenue? Revenue versus profit.
Just revenue.
Okay, revenue and profit are two different things. Profit is exactly how much they take home after expenses.
Yeah.
Revenue is what they take in before the expenses.
Oh yeah.
So
I figured that. I haven't exactly seen any kind of details of what their expenses are.
Right.
The only thing is, I haven't seen viewership increase, and I know that that the reason why they brought in extra revenue is because of the ads that they started showing in the last year, and I know that right now, the money that they're making from ads is making the sub split just this kind of like a bit of a small drop in the bucket compared to what they're actually making.
Right.
But right now, do you guys want to hear in regards to what Twitch needs to do?
We'll go there in a second here. So one thing I want to touch on here is this metric they gave for $1,000 a month for a 100 viewer broadcaster for 200 hours a month. Now, to the consumer, if I ran Eric's streaming service and I was paying Amazon to use their web services, yes, I'd probably be paying that $1,000 a month. But Twitch is owned by Amazon. It's using Amazon's technology. Amazon owns the technology they're using to broadcast on Twitch. They are not paying that consumer rate.
they're probably getting an employee discount because that's what you basically get if you are part of a company. You get a discount. So they're probably, I'm gonna guess they're probably getting something like maybe a 30 to 35% discount. Honestly,
well, even then, Twitch is like there's no employee discount here. Amazon owns the technology that Twitch is using, so theoretically, all it should be costing Amazon to run Twitch is labor and staff.
Yeah.
The web services itself, aside from utilities, I take that back. I might be wrong on this. I'm not fully.
It depends on if my
understanding,
how much it costs them for the space, I guess.
Right. So I'm talking building rent.
Yeah, buildings,
utilities and staff to run that building, and obviously maintenance, etc., taxes, things like that, actual costs associated with having the infrastructure. But to sit there and charge somebody, Amazon, this would be stupid if they are, but to Amazon to charge Twitch $1,000 per broadcast like that would just be, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
So that almost sounds like a bold-faced lie to me. They are not paying that rate.
I don't believe that at all. I thought as soon as I saw that stat, I was like, I'm calling bull, because if Twitch is owned by Amazon, surely then they're like automatically synced into the web services system, so they shouldn't have to pay a lot for it, or if anything.
Yeah. Now, someone in the chat here mentioned the amount of streamers that increased substantially since COVID. Yes, that would automatically drive up viewership and ad viewership and stuff like that. And theoretically, more people would buy ads and watch more ads, and the money flows or whatever. But remember, again, we're talking about that. The infrastructure has to grow with that viewership. So that infrastructure to maintain and grow and maintain that growth has to go up also. So the costs go up. The problem is, to see, this is the argument we get all the time here, and we'll go to what Zenith asking is, it's constantly brought up, Twitch makes millions and billions of dollars, blah, 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 blah. I could make all the money in the world. I could make $100 million a month. But if my spending is $150 million a month, I'm actually losing money. See, we never hear how much it costs Twitch to run. We always hear how much they make, but we don't know how much it costs to run it. That's the real issue. It's a two-piece thing. You need to bring in money and you need to spend less than what you make. But if it's the opposite, Twitch is in the hole, which I'm judging by this and reading this from a business perspective, they're in the damn hole.
Yeah.
Yeah. Twitch is in a lot of trouble. So on Tuesday, after all the news came out, and it was just absolute chaos on Twitter, and I sat in a call. I was actually one of the first people to sit in there, because like when I got in there, it was me and like 100 people, and we had I forget what his name is, but his name is Theo. He's the one that built the mod tools for Twitch and many other different services and whatnot. But but by the end, we had about 6,500 concurrent viewers, not total viewers overall, because like after a while it dipped down to 4,500.
Yeah.
But we had DJ Wheat, we had industry leaders on there, ex-staff. I think we had the ex-COO on there.
There was a lot of high-profile people in this.
They had nothing good to say about. I mean, like this. First of all, let's set the record straight. A lot of the staff there, people that are in like Twitch safety, heck, even the people that work for, that work on the ads, like they're all hardworking people,
right?
They actually really do care about the creators, and a lot of them are very passionate, but they are hamstrung from the people above them. But even those people are probably hamstrung by those above them. Right. The fact that like DJ Wheat, like every time like you go to TwitchCon, or when I was at St. Jude, he was the guy on stage giving us all the big announcements. He was like not that he was the face of Twitch, but he was like the face, like the actual physical representative. Say, we are Twitch, here's what's coming up, thank you all. And like, he was passionate. Yeah, like he lit a fire under our asses every time I've been there. And even he was saying that he couldn't get to Dan Clancy or what's his name, Emmett Shear.
Right. I feel like Dan Clancy's probably running the show more than Emmett is. I think Emmett's
just watching birds.
Emmett's just the name,
literally watching birds or planes.
It's almost like you have the guy that's like he's the fall guy. Like Emmett almost seems like the fall guy, and Dan's the one actually running this show. So like I'll reiterate what Zenith said. Like, we have no issues with the Twitch staff itself because they're fighting the same fight we are.
Yes.
Or at least was. So
Theo mentioned this. He was the guy that was hosting the entire show, and he said that with Twitch in recent years, what would normally constitute as a good leadership quality is fighting for the creators and fighting for your coworkers to do what's right for them. But at Twitch, if you're one of those people, it prevents you from moving on and getting better opportunities. Where anytime you would do something where if you'd stick your nose out and try and do something for your creators and be like, hey, no, that's not right, they would actually blacklist you and prevent you from sitting on certain boardroom meetings, or I think that's along the lines of that, or you would not be able to get a better paying job or get a better job within the company.
Right. So what you're basically getting at is the culture right now is they want yes people. This is the route we're taking. Yes. Jump on board. If you're against this, kind of thing. And what it is this is actually very common in a lot of big companies. I don't want to say it's a retaliation because that's a legal term. Retaliation is a legal term, so I'm not going to use that. But what it does, though, is it almost makes you a mark in terms of like, oh, you're a troublemaker. You don't follow the line. We want people that follow the line here. You're going to hear this a lot if you go from retail or whatever to a corporate environment. You're going to hear this term a lot. We want team players. We want people that are on board with what our vision is. If you don't follow those visions and like the people, like it sounds like the staff at Twitch now is trying to fight for, they're becoming troublemakers in a sense. Is like, well, we're fighting for the broadcaster, but Twitch is like, no, we need to make this money. We need to bring this revenue up. This is the route we're going.
Yeah.
And then
the fact that like DJ Wheat himself was like on the call was talking about They were having an empathy, like he pulled teeth just to get an empathy program for certain Twitch executives, people that were like higher up in the company, because he said that, all right, there's one big major thing we're lacking, and that is empathy for our creators. We need to like, yes, obviously we need profits, but like we also need to find that fine balance, and listen what they want to say, because like they were like the ones that helped us build this platform. So they had this empathy program, and after a while like they would actually bring in like big content creators, and they would have to hear about how burnt out they were, how tired they were, what they deal with, some of their horror stories when it comes to like hate and abuse on their own platform. And one of them said to him, wow, usually when you read this stuff, you don't think anything about it, but it hits awfully different when you actually hear it come from their mouths, and it's like, are you a fucking statue?
Yeah, So things like these come up a lot too. Things like empathy programs, or basically anything that benefits staff or anything those lines, those are considered expenses. That's money we have to spend to fix that problem that doesn't bring in revenue. Like I said, we're at the point now where Twitch is bleeding cash, and they're at this thing where it's like, look, we need to find solutions that bring in revenue. Empathy programs are great. Like every company should have an empathy program to create a healthy work-life balance. We should all have that. But the problem is that does not make them any money. So now that's the problem they have. So we'll kind of fast forward a little bit here for the sake of time. But later in that call, this was a huge Twitter call that went on. Thousands of people sat in on it. You had a prolific person by the name of Devin Nash. Now, depending on what your opinions are on Devin Nash, that's separate from what is that he is very knowledgeable about the business. His job is this business. He runs an agency for these like large broadcasters like this, helps them get brand deals and stuff like that. So he sees the in and outs of this stuff every day. So I take a lot of what he says into consideration. One of the big things he brought up is Twitch has an ad problem. And it's not in the problem, we talked about this before off stream or off cast here, is they have a very archaic way of doing ads. Not just on presenting ads to a viewer, but for businesses to purchase ad time. From what Devin says, Twitch has a very curated system. You have to call into Twitch, speak with a representative to book ad time. That's a completely archaic way to do things.
Yeah.
At least from a small business side of things. If you're a Coke or a Pepsi or, something like that, a Chevy or a Ford, like a huge company like that, yeah, you would probably want to talk to somebody and have a curated program for your ads. But for, Joe's Pizza Shop, it's dumb to have to call into Twitch and get ad time. That's an old way of doing things. Whereas with Google, you go to their AdWords site, you can purchase X amount of time at X amount of rate. They'll dish out your ads to the viewership that fits your demographic, and from your end as a purchaser, it's seamless.
Yeah.
You wait and see how well the ad does. There's no curating, there's no talking to anybody for that kind of thing. So that's a huge problem in itself. If companies have to jump through hoops to buy ad time on Twitch, they're not going to do it.
No.
They'll just go to the YouTube, go to the AdSense, put in the information, give them a credit card number, and boom, the ads go out. Assuming you have all the materials ready, obviously.
And even then, like, a lot of those companies will not actually go out of their way to advertise on your platform unless you got the viewership, because Twitch's viewership out of all like online media is something like 2%,
right?
And the rest of it is like counting like all those adult like media platforms, like Pornhubs, your OnlyFans and whatnot. But like if you're comparing it to like YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch makes up only 2%.
Right. And then on top of that too, it's a very, very curated viewership. Devin mentioned this in the thing. It's basically Twitch's demographic is an 18 to 25-year-old male.
Yeah.
So that's a very specific, it's a huge market, but it's a very specific curated that someone like a Coke or a Chevy or a Ford might not necessarily be interested in. Or the real money makers, your what is it, like Lincoln, Mercedes, those type of companies. That's a very, like, the 18, 25-year-old is not their demographic. 18 to 25-year-olds don't have that money.
Yeah, but even then, if Twitch's end game is to try and increase profit through ads, those, like, a lot of those companies, or even just companies that's going to be paying the bigger dollars, because advertisements work where the more viewership you bring in, like, the more your money scales. So Twitch's main goal right now will be to bring in more viewers and not lose their content creators. Like, it's great that they signed that where partners can stream outside of Twitch, but keeping content creators, after that that news that they announced at 3 a.m. on Tuesday, after that they're going to be losing creators.
Oh, it's already happening.
Absolutely.
And if they're losing, yes, absolutely. And if they're also losing creators, they're losing viewers. Right. So they need to come up with something that is more competitive in a way where, like, they don't have to worry about the sub split right now. That is for another day. I
brought this up during the partnership conversation in the previous episode where I said, if they're allowing this to happen, that means this thing's already coming. The price cuts are already coming. The wage cuts already coming, because basically that's a cover their ass type of thing, where it's be like, we're going to dock your pay, but hey, guess what? You can go to TikTok, you can go to YouTube, you can go to Facebook, and you can go make up revenue there. That's basically what they were doing.
Yeah. It is so hard to actually build your content just on Twitch.
No, it's almost impossible.
To be on TikTok. You need to be on YouTube. You need to be on
diversifying your content is the only way to grow, really.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, where now how do I word this thing here? So I guess what is Twitch? So I've thought about this a bit, and I might be wrong, but it's one of those things where I feel like they, number one, which is going to stop, they need to stop with the multi-million-dollar broadcaster contracts. Like, they need to stop spending that money. Like, they need to stop giving, COD Blaster 77, $10 million to stream on Twitch. They need to cut that out, and they need to actually start investing back in the business. You almost have to rebuild Twitch at this point.
Yeah. They need to stop worrying about the top 2 to 5% of Twitch. They need to start finding ways to grow more creators, because like I see that they're trying to do things for more discoverability, but there's still so much more that they can do to help like the lower and the middle streamers.
Something that this is going to be a hot take.
This is going to be a hot take. I'm sorry. This is going to be a hot take. But even then, I don't even think the broadcaster scenario should be their priority. They need to find a way to bring in revenue to this company that's outside of the creators. They need to build an ad platform that businesses can get into and make it easy so they can put ads up on Twitch, because the more ads that come in that are purchased at Twitch, the more they can curate it. The more you're not getting 7 of the same ad in your face every stream you click on.
Yes. And they also need to find a way to not make them as intrusive, because there's a fine line between, show an ad. Sure, great. It's going to make you money. But I think someone mentioned on that big Twitch call where Twitch can pretty much make the exact same amount of money revenue-wise from an ad if it's just one ad as opposed to 9 ads.
That's the problem they have. They have to build up they have to make Twitch a revenue. They have to make Twitch a profitable company. And right now, funneling more stuff to the broadcasters isn't necessarily going to fix that problem right now. The problem they have is bringing money in. That's their biggest issue, because they have more broadcasters than they can afford to pay. That's the problem.
Yeah. So like what I was talking about was not actually like yes, it would be great if like the broadcasters got more support, but they need traffic, because right now discoverability, not just like like certain streamers, but like just discovering content, because like right now the big reason why TikTok and YouTube Shorts are like blowing up is because it's short form content, 1 to 30 seconds to like 2 minutes.
3 minutes, yeah.
If you can go on YouTube, you can find like a short video, and then you just blast through them, and there's like you hop from one video to another. A good example that someone used is say you play Monster Hunter,
right?
And you want to take a look at a certain build. It's like, I want to learn Greatsword, so you search Monster Hunter Greatsword. And then you'll see like a whole bunch of videos with all these really nice thumbnails, and then you just pick and choose. And then that will also, once you watch that, then you find like it'll recommend like a bunch of other videos. And a lot of times that's how you discover viewers. But if you try and do that on Twitch, you're not going to find it.
No.
This is the other problem here too, is like Twitch's algorithm and everything. I'm going to guess it's completely outdated.
Oh,
it's their algorithms, because TikTok's algorithm's phenomenal. You can just have people funnel into your videos, but the problem is
my first video was 1,300 viewers. I'm like, what the fuck?
Which I get. Zenith's sentiments are nice. Sorry, Dill, I'm gonna let you speak in a second. I'm just trying to finish out my train of thought here. But the idea is, yes, like the sentiments are nice, but they don't have the money to invest in that right now. They don't have the money to invest in the team to do that kind of stuff. Like I said, you have to build this thing from the scrap back up and redo the whole back end before we even get the creator thing. Because what'll happen is, if you build a good back end, remember, in this whole thing, competition is king. If YouTube comes out with a better platform and everything that they can do, the people are going to flock there. Because on paper, Twitch is the best place to do it on paper. They have the most viewership for video game content, et cetera, on paper. But the problem is the system in place to foster their growth and everything is non-existent because they haven't invested in it.
Yes, yet. However, there is a thing I signed up for this week. It's called Truffle. I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that, but like apparently it is a YouTube extension that gives you a lot of the same options that Twitch gives you, but for YouTube.
Oh, I think I've heard of this. Yeah.
If YouTube comes out with these kinds of things that Twitch offers, like the emotes and just general moderation tools, it is over for Twitch.
It's probably already almost there. I would imagine they're already working on it, but we'll let Dill get his thoughts in because I feel a little sad.
I'm so sorry.
I feel a little sad. But we'll let Dill get his thoughts in. This is going to be an ongoing conversation. There's not enough time in a podcast to just even touch on this unless we did a whole episode on it. But Dill, let's go ahead and let's get some of your thoughts on this whole thing. Because
to touch on what Zenith said about clips, so a great way for them to get back into the swing of things to improve their algorithm is if they focused on getting their clips pumped through the system, because it's short content, as Zenith said. It gets their attention. If someone's interested in the clip, they could go to that person's channel and explore more of their content. It's how you can get a lot more people interested in the platform, and it's something that I've seen someone talk about, how they think if Twitch managed to utilize the clips that people created on the platform, made a system where people can find them very easily, or a section maybe on the homepage, or if like someone's exploring a stream or something like that, and they like share the same clips or anything like that from other streamers recommended or anything like that, it's something that I think could help improve the website. The problem I guess you have there is that you need people to work on that, and right now, obviously, Twitch's finance situation, we don't really know what they're making really, or what profits they have, or what.
I'm going to go under the assumption here that they're in the whole. They're cutting pay to staff. They're cutting pay to their. They're cutting pay. If you work a normal job, your normal 9 to 5, if a company starts cutting your pay, you're in trouble. It's first things first. When you're in a normal company, normal 9 to 5 type of job, when they start cutting on things like the type of toilet paper they use and the general everyday type of stuff, the utensils, like when they start cutting out the petty expenses, you're in trouble. When they start cutting your pay, they're in shit trouble. Like they're swimming in shit. So that they're judging by this, they're in a huge hole right now. Now, here's another thing we haven't talked about TikTok yet too. TikTok probably has one of the best algorithms in the game right now. But for example, let's say TikTok starts doing the whole thing like they do with the short clip content. Imagine if they did that for live streams, where you could just flip through 6 or 7 different live streams at the type of a thumb, and then someone catches your interest at the right time, and you're sitting there watching for an hour.
That's the thing that will get it.
That's a huge problem.
Yeah, I mean, if TikTok actually created a much better content, creator program where they actually got better payment from them, then people will be making a lot more TikToks. They have one, but it's not very well done at the moment.
All the ad business, the businesses buying ads and stuff, they're going to YouTube and they're going to TikTok.
Yeah.
And now here's the other problem that Twitch also has too, since Twitch is a live platform. I'm Red Bull. Why am I going to pay Twitch X amount of dollars to funnel an ad out during, COD Blaster stream when I can pay COD Blaster directly to hold up a can of Red Bull every hour on the hour and sip the can of Red Bull, and I can cut out the middleman completely. That's another problem Twitch has.
Yep, exactly.
And the reason I bring that up is because Leshki, who's not here today, mentioned that in our Discord chat, where it's like they're going straight to the creator itself. Red Bull goes straight to a Ninja and pays Ninja X amount of dollars to hold up a can of Red Bull or have that little fridge in the corner. That's all it takes. Few $1 million and a fridge in the corner of their camera frame. That's all it takes. They don't need to pay Twitch the middleman money to flash an ad. They've got a guy being a 5-hour ad, when he streams. That's a huge problem that they have.
Yep.
So before we wind out here, what's a new creator to do? Number one, I would say right now, here and now, Twitch is a losing game. If you jump in now, straight from scratch, you're in a losing game. you're better off going to a TikTok or a YouTube or even an Instagram reel or whatever and start building a content following that way and then funneling into Twitch. If you try to go up with this whole expectation of like, hey, I'm going to be big on Twitch, I'm going to make all this money, you're in for a world of hurt.
Yeah. You might be able to. The thing is, like, it's good to start with TikTok and Instagram, but if you're starting from scratch with YouTube, especially if you're just like doing the streams, because the big issue with YouTube is right now, if you're like a streamer that isn't like one of the bigger ones, it's the discoverability on YouTube for like if you're just doing YouTube streams is actually quite garbage right now. But if you're streaming on Twitch, like it's not too bad if you're between, you know, if you're trying to get up once you're like in the hundreds, then diversify a bit and then start doing YouTube once you build like a little bit of a platform here on Twitch. But you know, like you said, you know, start on TikTok if you can, because TikTok, the discoverability is just outrageously awesome.
It's the concept of finding the place that's going to distribute your content the most efficiently.
Yeah,
that's the tool, because you're building something here. You know, you don't build the McDonald's in between a Burger King or you don't build a McDonald's in between a Chick-fil-A and an In-N-Out. You just don't do it.
And even then, instead of just building one McDonald's, you build 2 McDonald's, 3 McDonald's, and then you keep distributing yourself out a bit more to try and maximize your exposure.
And then you have them funnel to your flagship one. That's the way, that's the idea here. So like, that's the way I say it. Right now, I'm going to be honest with you, this is a losing game right now. They're in trouble. We can sugarcoat it all we want. We can all be bleed purple, da-da-da-da-da. We're in this. No, but it's a sinking ship right now. Like, they got holes in this thing. They got a problem. And I don't even know if they can fix it. It takes money to fix it, which it seems to be. They're bleeding. Like, it's hard.
It won't surprise me if we see Amazon drop Twitch within the next few years, honestly.
It's going to happen.
Honestly, they said on the call, I'm just going to keep this very short. They said on the call that Twitch, well, not exactly dying, but like struggling, could actually be good for them, because that's when they start listening more to what could they do to try and turn the ship around. Because all decision makings in the past 3-4 years was when they were dealt with a great deal of adversity and they had nowhere else to turn to. So could it be good? As like, could they redeem themselves? Probably not, but it could encourage someone else to try and come up with a better alternative for Twitch. Right now, YouTube is getting there. They're not there yet.
No,
but I think it probably would be a good thing.
Yeah.
For Twitch to really feel the struggle, and even if they end up just selling Twitch to someone else, that could probably be for the best.
I tend to agree with Devin on this whole thing. They need to revamp the whole ad program. They need to get rid of the leadership that's in there now and find a team that will build up a ad revenue program that will actually get advertisers on the platform to bring in money.
Yep.
And then actually get those legitimate deals back, like the NFL. And because, I mean, the Overwatch League and all that stuff, that's small potatoes. That's niche. Those are niche agreements. You want the NFL, you want the Golf Network, you want that kind of stuff, you know, big money on your platform having exclusivity deals. NBA, NFL, MLB, you want those type of agreements.
Yeah.
Those are the ones you want on Twitch to drive viewership from an audience that will sell or will react to big money ads. You know,
like, think about it this way. Like, imagine like an actual live golf thing, but like if you subscribe or like do some kind of like special sports subscription where to give you like an alternate angle or to focus more on your favorite golfer or favorite basketball player.
Exactly.
Like the sky is the limit.
Yeah,
and YouTube doesn't do that.
Yeah, 72 golfers on a tournament, to have them, have you be able to go on to watch, the Masters is the biggest golf tournament of the year, right? To go watch the Masters and then be able, like, I want to watch Phil Mickelson play the whole game. click on his stream, and you're watching him play the whole game. You know, and that is the idea of true, like, interactive thing. And on top of that, you can chat with specifically the fan base. Same with the NBA. I want to chat with the Laker fans while I'm watching the Laker game. You can take it beyond these group of people in your living room, and you can go with all the people all over the country who like Lakers and watch. And that would be a huge game changer for them. They have the technology to do it. But it's just, they're stuck in this boat right now where it's like, we need to make money. You know, we have no money. These are probably all ideas that have come through to them, and they haven't been fostered in any way, shape, or form because it doesn't sell anything.
Yeah. And also them going on and saying that that we have no money is probably making it harder for advertisers to want to advertise with them.
Yeah. Like I said, and you know,
they shot themselves in the foot.
Right. Yeah. To buy ad time, you know, like call so-and-so at Twitch, you know, and book your ad meeting. Like, who the hell wants to do this? I don't even want to talk to anybody when I order a pizza. Like, just get on the app and order the pizza, you know? Yeah.
Because, like, the entire letter is, like, Twitch is $1 billion company, but presenting itself as some, like, small startup company. It's not a good look. It's not going to work.
It's growing.
And
they should be the biggest in the game right now, which on paper they are, but like they just from an infrastructure standpoint right now, it's not working for them.
Yeah.
We'll touch on this again. We spent a lot of time on this. We'll touch on this again soon here.
I knew we would.
I know. Yeah. It should have been almost a whole episode just dedicated to this, but we got some more stuff to consider. How about this GTA 6 leak, huh? How do we feel about this?
They arrested some kid that was 17 years old in UK, probably related to Dill.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. I got the inside job here, yeah. London police got him, and then he's going to be talked to by the FBI as well, so, you know.
I would like to know just what his wanted rating was.
It was 4 stars.
Arrested.
It was
4 stars.
This is a huge thing, and like,
yes,
it's probably one of the biggest leaks in like game history.
It's one of the biggest leaks.
And some 17-year-old doing it. Like a bunch of people in the comments were saying, and after he's done with jail, you make him head of security.
Yeah. FBI literally like, hey, you work for Rockstar or you go to jail, and then
yep. I think that'll be a good way to actually for him to pay his debts there. Like, hey, you work for this company.
You're an asshole, but you're also a genius.
Yeah.
I love the kid's name. The user who posted on this came out of the Verge. I got this one from the Verge. The user who posted the gameplay, Teapot Tuber Hacker.
Nice.
Teapot Tube Hacker.
Claims they also carried out an attack on Uber.
Is that your burner account?
Yeah, that's great. Anyway, so let's see. Confirmed. They confirmed. Rockstar's confirmed it. Leak footage online. This is 90 videos, 3 gigs of footage.
Yeah.
90 videos of GTA 6. It's not clear how it was obtained. At least this is the first article. So Rockstar confirmed this is real. It's not clear how old the footage is, but some appears to be running on 3060 Ti's and 3080 Ti's, so the development build can't be older than 2 years. So this is a fairly recent build.
Or like an alpha build or something.
Clips show NPC interactions, updated UI and animations, and this is the big problem that people are seeing with this thing: the internal bug tools, like the actual lines of code and stuff you see in this footage. That's an issue.
That honestly, that actually will delay the game by an entire fucking year.
Probably.
And as someone that has worked in a game publishing company, if any of our stuff leaks, we pretty much have to rewrite a lot of the things, otherwise people are going to get access to it or copy our source code.
And here's on that note, here's what came out of Rockstar on the Rockstar Twitter. We are extremely disappointed to have any details of our next game shared with you in this way. Our work on the next Grand Theft Auto game will continue as planned and will remain as committed as ever to delivering an experience to you, our players, that truly exceeds your expectations. So according to their statement, that GTA 6 is still on schedule despite this leak. Now, this could be... Go ahead.
I'm very confident that they're going to like delay it anyway, because like it would be bad for them to say, hey, because this we're delaying the game. No, it's going to happen. It's just they're not going to say that is the cause, because that is probably the best PR move to make.
Because they haven't announced a release date, so like they don't really need to reveal anything about when it was coming out, so they could just like spend more time to work on it.
I think the other issue here from a community perspective, or a game community perspective, is they see these leaks and then people are like, the first thing to come out of these incel mouths is, that looks like ass. 10 years to make this. It's an alpha build.
That's the thing as well. Other gaming companies in support of Rockstar actually came out and showed like alpha footage of their games. Like Santa Monica Studios did that with God of War, and so did Control developers as well.
These things take years to make. Like, they take years and hundreds of staff and millions of dollars. It's not like they're just like, hey, GTA 6, I've been holding it up my ass for 6 years. Here it is. Like, no. Like,
and you shit it all out.
Yeah, you shit it all out on December 21st, Like, no, it doesn't work that way. It's this concept is like, hey, it takes years to make. So kudos to Rockstar. I'm siding with them. No one likes their shit leaked. You know?
Yeah. No. Because it's awful for all the people that worked on there.
Well, with finding the person too.
Yeah, I mean, when you got a guy named Teapot Tuber Hacker, he's probably not the.
I mean, it's Rockstar. They literally their entire game basis is like tracking down wanted people.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was old enough to hack into Rockstar, but probably too dumb to realize, oh shit, I got to cover my tracks.
Yeah.
Or he just like got in. It's one of those guys that gets excited, like, "Whoa, I did it! Here it is, guys. Here's the proof." And then it's like,
and then sets off the alarms. Oh shit! I'm locked in the vault.
It's the Indiana Jones thing where like you switch it and then you see the ball coming. Like, oh shit! Like then run. But we'll see this as it develops here. Like, what do you guys think of the female protagonist thing so far?
I like it.
I like her.
Yeah, I mean, she robbed a store clerk at gunpoint and shot his ass.
Yeah,
so, I mean, it's Grand Theft Auto.
It's a male and a female protagonist, isn't it? So it's two different people, and that's it.
Yeah, like a Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah,
kind of dynamic.
That's pretty cool. I'll be here for it. It's Grand Theft Auto, dude. I can't skip a Grand Theft Auto.
I'd say I played so much time into GTA 5. Oh my god.
We'll see what happens, but that's the Grand Theft Auto leak. I'm glad they caught the guy, running at large. Okay. We'll condense this down quite a bit because there's a lot to undo. So we'll just talk about some of the favorite stuff we've seen here. We had 3 showcases over the course of the 2-week period here. We had a Nintendo Direct.
Yes.
We had a Sony State of Play, and we had a Capcom showcase. So we'll do the simplest of the ones here. I think the only thing that was most interesting for me for the Capcom showcase was the Resident Evil stuff.
Yes.
The Resident Evil. How do we feel about the Village DLC? I'm stoked for it.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm getting it. People can see it on. People will see it.
Wait for one to see.
We got the Story of Rose DLC, and then there's a Mercenaries mode. That's that online multiplayer thing they got going.
Yeah.
You can play as Lady Milkers.
Yes. Chris and Heisenberg.
And then here's the other cool thing: Resident Evil Village is getting the third-person mode, like old school.
Yeah,
I really want to try that.
So you'll actually be able to see what Ethan looks like.
Yeah, I'm stoked on that. What about? They also dropped this too. What about the Resident Evil 4 remake stuff? Like, you saw the footage for that. Are you guys ready for the Resident Evil 4 remake?
This is why I am playing Resident Evil 4 in October, so that I can play the original game before the remake comes out in March, so I can compare the two, basically. Because it's going to be different from the original, I guarantee it.
It doesn't count, Dill, unless you do it on a GameCube with a CRT TV, so...
Well, I have a GameCube, but the problem is I don't have a CRT TV, and also I don't have the game on GameCube.
RIP.
Yep.
I'm going in blind.
You're going in blind?
Mostly.
Same.
Did you ever play it originally or no?
No, I just watched
streams of it, yeah. I think I'm in the same boat. I've watched streams of Resident Evil 4. I never took time to actually play it.
Yeah.
But I'm
looking forward to it.
The 4 thing, I want Resident Evil 1 on the same thing. Like, I want that set, of all the remakes, like, boom, good to go. Like,
just a nice collection.
With that matching red and white font that they use now. Give me all of them.
Yes.
But yes, the Village DLC, like, when does that come out?
That's the 28th of October.
I'm so ready for Halloween. Oh, I'm so ready. Yeah, let's get this party rolling.
That's what I'm doing for my Halloween.
So yes,
I'm just playing Resident Evil games.
There was also some Street Fighter 6 gameplay, and I don't think any of us here are huge like diehard Street Fighter fans. The Tekken was cool. No, that was the state of play.
Showcase. That was the state of play. Yeah.
Yeah. So on to the state of play. Let's see here. Sony state of play. Okay.
I only saw two things that I caught my eye in that, and that was Tekken 8 and God of War Ragnarok. The rest of it was just anime games.
Yeah, I'm not big on these anime games, and honestly,
Yeah, and especially after the Nintendo Directs, just like heavy JRPG, I was just all burnt out on JRPGs, so I was just like, oh, okay.
I think one of the reasons I'm in like catch-up mode right now is I want to get through God of War before Ragnarok comes.
You definitely should.
Yeah.
You absolutely need to.
That's on my list of things to do this month, God of War. And then, let's see. Yeah, Tekken 8. I'm not the biggest Tekken fan, but I think it's probably one of the more strategic fighting games out there.
The trailer was very good.
The game looks fucking gorgeous.
Apparently that was in-game footage as well.
Jesus, man.
Yeah.
Beautiful looking game. But... there's so much stuff, guys. There's so much out of nowhere. It just vomited all over us.
Shall we get into Nintendo now? Because Nintendo has all the good stuff.
Okay, so we're gonna get into Nintendo here because Zenith's disappointed.
His
Zenith's
face
not
right
happy.
there says it all.
His face, he's disappointed. But we'll go through the Nintendo Direct here.
He wanted Twilight Princess on the Switch so badly.
And where's his sword?
Where's the sword?
I was just grabbing it.
No.
Where is my Wind Waker on the Switch?
Okay. Let's do some of the smaller stuff here. So this is definitely Zenith's wheelhouse here, but there's the new Fire Emblem on the way. Like core Fire Emblem.
You mean Pepsi Man Simulator?
Well, I was streaming the Nintendo Direct on Discord, and I did things a bit differently where people got to hear me react to it while everyone else in chat was muted. So when it started, they showed off the new Fire Emblem. I'm like, yes, let's go, let's fucking go, because I love me some Fire Emblem, and not only that, they greatly improved the graphics. I think the main character's hair looks a bit weird, but like at the same time, you know, like it's not a big deal.
Colored.
Don't worry about that.
You dropped the sword.
Yeah, I was casually just breaking shit. So
that noise suppression.
So I'm very excited for him, but like the first 5-7 minutes, I was really looking forward to it, and just like slowly my face went from
Aww.
Tiny violin plays.
Yeah. By the time Zelda came around, don't worry, I'm not going to talk about Zelda just yet. By the time it came around, that I was just like, harumph.
So we've got the Fire Emblem. We got Kirby's Return to Dreamland. Let's roll.
Does it have online multiplayer?
Let's see. Updated features: 4-player multiplayer, and a collection of mini games like Samurai Kirby and Tome Trackers. I don't play them that much, but when I see them, I love them. I love Kirby.
Yeah, that was a good game.
Kirby game. I've not played Kirby.
He's
before.
so cute. He's so cute. You just want to squish his puffy pink cheeks.
Yeah, and you can also play as 4-player Kirby as well. But like, if it's just local multiplayer, who the fuck am I going to play with except for, you know, Lee? So
that's a good question. Yeah, because it just says features up to 4-player multiplayer. It doesn't say if it's online or not. But
yeah,
that is February 24th, 2023.
Yes.
I'm personally into this. The Octopath Traveler sequel. I liked the first game a lot.
Played it.
Classic turn-based like RPG, you know, with some modern 3D accoutrements to make it look nice. Side-scrolling, basically, you know, or top-down side-scrolling combat scenarios and stuff like. So I'm excited for this. It's supposedly, I think it was 7 new characters. It's a whole new group of heroes. I think it's 5 to 7. It's a whole new group of people. So no one from the first game is in this one. It's a whole new group of series. If you don't know what Octopath Traveler is you have up to 7 different characters, if I remember right, and each one has its own different plot line. So you go through the game upwards of like 6 to 7 times, and get 7 different stories.
Oh, so it's like Nier Automata.
Maybe. I never played Nier, but
it's apparently that has like multiple different endings. You have to do different playthroughs each time in order to actually get different endings.
Well, I don't know. Not only do you get different, but you get different storylines. Like, because you're playing as each character. You're playing the game each time as a different character to get a different story plot. Because it's like the individual character's story and how it relates in the world. But I like Octopath a lot. It's super cool. I'm into it. Bayonetta 3. Who's excited for Bayonetta 3?
Me.
Yeah? Day one buy for you?
Possibly. Either that or I'll ask for it for Christmas. Because I don't know. There's a lot of things coming out between like end of October and start of November.
And I don't know if Zenith's going to be excited about this or not, but the Nintendo 64 online upgrade package is here. We get GoldenEye 007, which seems to be the big one.
Online play as well.
With online play.
And also Mario Party as well, like the original Mario
1, 2,
Party.
and 3.
Yeah.
Because what I used to do is I used to have Mario Party Saturdays where I would have people connect to my computer via Parsec, and we just play through 1, 2, 3, and the ones on the GameCube. But if they're now on Nintendo Switch Online, it's easier for me to do Mario Party Saturdays, unless the online is absolute garbage. But then again, like, it's a party game. Like, it should have like pretty decent latency because it's just mini games and rolling the dice. So
yes,
I'm down for that.
There's so much stuff coming, and then Dill for the Dill Big Dill gamer, Pokemon Stadium,
something that I've not played.
Pokemon Stadium 2, and what else do we have here? I'm excited about the GoldenEye deal. Playing that online is going to be fun. I think.
Yeah, I wanted to try that.
I noticed this when I watched the ad, or the trailer, they used a different version of the theme. Like, I don't think they got the original theme.
No,
maybe they didn't have the rights for it.
Copyright issues.
They might not have the rights for it, so we might see that in the actual game. They're also adding 1080 snowboarding, which is badass, and Excitebike 64. So if you have that Nintendo 64 add-on to your subscription, you're in for a lot of love, a lot of retro love. So we'll see you guys in the GoldenEye multiplayer. They're going to do Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core. That'll be on the Switch. December 13th.
It'll also be on multiple other platforms as well.
Right,
PC,
it's going to be on your Steam. It's going to be on your PlayStation
Yeah.
stuff. So if you're a Switch person, you can get Crisis Core, which is the prequel to Final Fantasy VII, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the story of one of the characters that you see at the end of the remake game, and also part of like the original story.
And then, not Kojima, but Miyamoto had to come out and tell us Pikmin 4 is coming. I've never played a Pikmin. Who loves Pikmin?
So I don't play Pikmin. I have a friend who's a huge fan of Pikmin. He was like in a roller coaster of emotions because they start off with showing Pikmin. They showed off the game, which was going to be the mobile game, and then they announced Pikmin 4, and his brain was fried afterwards.
Yeah, I know some Pikmin fans that are very happy with that announcement.
Yes.
Because they've been waiting forever. Not as long as Metroid fans, but forever.
Poor Metroid fans.
They're never going to get it.
We're not getting Metroid,
a new game. Then again, they did get, like, what is it, Metroid Dread.
Metroid Dread, at least.
Okay, so, like, if you count Metroid Dread, Pikmin fans technically have been waiting longer.
That's true.
Yes.
That's true. We got Fatal Frame. I always like the look of these games. I've never played one, but they always look good. Tunic's coming to the Switch. Tunic is awesome. It's like Link's Awakening.
Zelda Dark Souls.
Yeah, Zelda Dark Souls. Play Tunic. And the cool thing about Tunic is you actually get pieces of the manual that you put together, and that's how you progress in the game. It's really awesome. Tunic's a great looking game.
Isn't it on the Game Pass as well?
Yes, it's on Game Pass. Harvest Moon remake here.
Actually, I was pretty excited for that one because I kind of grew up with that game.
Aw.
There's what's it called? That book I was reading, The Blood, Sweat, and Pixels. There's a chapter dedicated to Stardew Valley, and it talks about how he wanted to remake, or he basically wanted to make the next Harvest Moon.
Yeah.
Great book, by the way. Resident Evil Village Cloud. Okay, cool. It's going to be in the cloud.
I don't like cloud games.
Sure.
It'll work. assuming it'll work.
It just works.
And then we have
as long as you have Ethernet connection.
Before we get into the meat and potatoes or the big news out of this whole thing, we do have some DLC coming for Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Mario Super Strikers, Switch Sports. You're getting the golf mode.
Mario Kart new tracks.
Mario Kart new tracks. So there's a ton of stuff coming.
2 tracks though from now, which kind of bums me out because I'm wondering what the rest of the tracks are.
Not sure. But okay, let's get into Zenith's disappointments here and my disappointments before we go on to the actual thing that will subside our disappointments. There was no combo or release announced for anything for Wind Waker HD or Twilight Princess HD.
Oof.
I don't know what the hell's going on. Like, what is it about these? What is it about these 2 fucking games that they just don't want to do anything with?
Because do they have any incentive to actually do them?
Yeah.
Do they?
Money.
Well, you forget it's Nintendo. Nintendo could do a lot of other things that makes them money, and they still don't.
But we talked about this the last episode, where it's like there's a whole generation of people that got rid of their GameCubes that have Switches that would love to go play these games again, and for some strange odd reason, they're just like, yeah, we don't need to do that.
I mean, there's also people who never played
Money's
them.
Like fucking ugly. Ew. Why would I want this?
Money.
No.
Twitch calls up Nintendo, hey, we could use some of that money. You want to
exactly.
license that to us?
Twitch Tendo.
Twitch Tendo. I mean,
Link's just purple tunics everywhere.
We could always bring some games back. Hey, start bringing GameCube games to the Switch, honestly. Coliseum, Gales of Darkness, please. Anyway.
Yeah. Also, I'm now trapped on this like rainbow thing. Otherwise, this rainbow color. Otherwise, I'm gonna be flashing with like red and green. It's weird.
You hit the star there in Mario Kart.
Yeah. So it's not here. It's not gonna be this year.
It's
never going to happen.
If it's gonna happen, it won't be until after 2023 because obviously with the new announcement right at the end of the stream, which I think Eric can go into.
Yeah. Also, I just wanted to touch on one small thing because like the Nintendo Direct had a big, because like if you think about it, we waited since like February, March, almost half a year for a proper Direct, and I was expecting Mario, Donkey Kong, like the Zelda bundle, and there's probably some other things. People were hoping for Metroid.
This is why you go in with low expectations.
But then we get like, I love Fire Emblem, I love Story of Seasons, but when they gave us so many JRPG announcements and so many farms, I counted 9.
Oh,
9.
9. Do you want 10?
I got so burnt out on Fire Emblem when they kept shoving those guys in fucking Smash Brothers. I'm like, okay, yeah. I get it. I don't care anymore.
You like Fire Emblem, Nintendo. We get it.
Yeah.
So my like the example that I'm using for this is it's Thanksgiving. You're treated to a very nice, lovely Thanksgiving dinner. You're full. You're happy. You're like, oh my god, this is great. Oh, I'm so full though. And then it's like, here's your pie. It's like, no, I'm too full. And then it's like, hey, I can't eat mine either. Here's my pie. It's like, no, I can't even eat my own. And then someone else is like, no, I have this big pie. This pie will expire if you don't eat this. And you're like, holy fuck, get me out of this house.
Jesus. That escalated quickly.
It's like Sabrina.
That's how I felt when I had like 80 JRPGs and 69 farm sims. Did you see like all those? Oh my gosh, did you guys see the video where it was a God of War and it was like this very epic trailer, but then all of a sudden it was Kratos farming?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's so good.
All right,
there's so many good jokes and memes.
It's probably no surprise here to the listeners of this and the people that watch here. Dill, Zenith, and I will all probably be on some Discord call on May 12th, 2023 to talk about what we're experiencing. So we have it. It's here. The date is here. Sequel to Breath of the Wild is called Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, which makes sense as to why they pushed the Direct a couple days.
I thought it was Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
And then
neither one sounds positive after the queen dies either way. So Tears of the Kingdom, And it comes out May 12th, 2023. We have the footage. It looks beautiful.
Yep.
But I'm trying to figure out where the gimmick is.
It's also Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, where's the gimmick in this game? Like, where's gimmick?
Ganon? Where's Ganon? Show us Ganon. Show his butt.
We're going to see... Well, I mean, I can't say we're going to see Ganon, but where's the gimmick? Like, obviously, Twilight Princess has the wolf. Ocarina of Time has the ocarina, you know.
You can fly in this one?
We could fly with the glider was in... Oh, no, glider wasn't exclusive to Breath of the Wild. What was the Breath of the Wild exclusive gimmick?
The
breakable
slates.
weapons.
Yeah, the breaking weapons and 500
shrines.
Yeah, 500 shrines.
Yeah,
but
was it 500?
And 900 Korok seeds.
No, it was 9,000.
But I don't see the gimmick in this. Like, what makes it a new Zelda? Like, what is Link going to be able to do? But it looks beautiful. But like Zenith said, it's Breath of the Wild Part 2.
Yeah,
I mean, is it going to be like the story that's the gimmick? Like, is it going to have a really good story? Yes.
It's just the only...
Zeldas have good stories, but there's no gimmick.
Yeah.
Wind Waker had the ship.
Like, it looks like there's a couple of new abilities. Like, we saw the one where Link just, like, rises up into the air on that block thing.
Someone said it in chat there, Kid Glane, the arm thing. Where Link has that arm thing, like his arm gets blown off or something and it's replaced by something.
It looks like he can, like, reverse time via stasis. And then there's that one where, like, he can just, like, swim straight up and go right through the floor.
Yes, phasing.
So, like, those are neat. The only thing is it going to have, like, are these things that the game's just going to give you right off the bat, or are these things you're going to have to get from completing dungeons? I feel
like if they want to keep people playing, it has to be something you get from dungeons or from a task you have to do. Otherwise,
this is going to be that's going to be the concept, is we have to earn these abilities. If it's going to be a Zelda game, we got to earn these abilities.
We got to rescue Zelda by learning all these things.
Yeah, so let's see here. Kingdom. Is there any kind of information? I'm trying to see if there's any kind. What's the wiki say? Yeah, see, there's not the information's still very much light. The artwork is gorgeous. The key art that they're using, where he's on that air cliff or that cliff in the air, or whatever. And the logo looks gorgeous too.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, it's like an Ouroboros where it's like a dragon or snake eating its tail.
That's one of the things I always look forward to, is the artwork from these games. But I wish we had more to talk about, but like there's hardly any information.
It's like by the time that came out and I saw that it was only like 15-20 seconds of gameplay, it's like, you know, great that we got like a title, great that we got an official date, but at the same time it's like, what the fuck? Where's the farming at this point?
Where's the farm? Where's my house?
Where's the soil?
Like, there's nothing. There's no information. I don't know what to go off of here.
I guess we'll have to find out later in another Nintendo Direct, or maybe when the game just releases.
I like this box art, but I still don't think it's as good as the Breath of the Wild box art. The Breath of the Wild art.
Oh, the Breath of the Wild box art was fantastic.
You could tell, you can tell that they ripped, like Elden Ring ripped off the Breath of the Wild box art in terms of like the epic thing. Oh no, not Breath of the Wild. Which is the one that has? Oh, Bloodborne. It almost looks like the Bloodborne artwork or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like staring out kind of thing. But like the bird, this big old bird looks badass.
Yeah, the flying bird.
Yeah,
my big bird man looks pretty badass too.
I want to play. Now I'm excited. Now I want to play. Let's go.
Rivali wasn't that?
What a cool. Okay. So, wait. I wish we had more information, but we don't.
No.
May 23rd, 2023 is what we got. It's going to be a long wait.
Yep. I got it pre-ordered.
On that day, we will all be in Discord call and we'll all be like, let's play this together.
Did they do we'll figure out how we're gonna do that. I feel like we should all take like an hour or two with it by ourselves or whatever, and then get on a Discord call and talk about this.
I'm actually gonna be streaming mine on Twitch, but you guys are welcome to join me on voice if you want to join me. I'll
probably be streaming it as well, honestly.
Then hey, 3-player multi-stream.
Maybe.
Yeah, we'll figure this out. Yeah. We'll figure this out. The other thing we gotta do is like, when are the Game Awards?
December probably.
You have to figure out that game plan too.
At the start of December is when it normally happens.
I was thinking about that too. I was like, let's get in the Game Awards and watch the Game Awards together and just be disappointed together.
Yeah, because like doesn't Game Awards have where everything counts up till like December of that year?
I think that's what it is.
Yes.
So yeah, it's likely December.
Yeah.
We'll see some stuff. Well, on that note, guys, that's it for this week. A lot of stuff to unpack. We'll unpack this Twitch stuff more as it develops because this ain't over yet. Trust me.
No, it's gonna be more.
It is never over.
This is not over.
The sword shall come.
Someone in the chat here said December 8th. Once again, if you are sitting in the chat right now, our dear friend Carla, her father had passed away. There's a GoFundMe link in that chat if you'd like to either contribute or share. We would very much appreciate it for Carla, help her get through this tough time. It's to cover expenses, obviously, funeral expenses, etc., get them back on their feet. So feel free to share or contribute to that if you're inclined. We will be back. I didn't do the calendar yet, but 2 weeks from today.
That will be the 8th of October.
8th of October. So the schedule as it's kind of going right now, we have 2 in October, 1 in November, and then the team all goes on break for Thanksgiving and Christmas. With the exception of, if we watch the Game Awards or something together, and we'll figure that out.
We'll see what can happen.
Well, if there's like big news coming out, we could be like,
we'll jump on and we'll obviously do something. Twitch goes under in a blazing fire. We'll obviously be here to talk about it.
We'll all crumble together.
But for the most part, we're gonna head into the holiday season, with a break, and then come back in the new year. So, on that note, guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. These fine gentlemen here who were nothing but trouble today with their kind. Go ahead and sign yourselves off, guys, and
thanks for having us. Thanks for being here, and eat pizza.
Someone said your pizza looks like a middle finger flipping you off.
Damn it.
Zenith over here with his big sword.
You can cook pizza.
Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for putting up with our shenanigans, and also thank you so much for tuning in on, because we had a lot to cover. I was looking forward to this today.
A lot to cover. I feel like we still were all over the place, but don't worry, we're gonna have more. Yeah. We'll talk about it more once
we'll break it down later.
We'll break it down. All right, guys. I'm Eric Anthony. We have Dill. We have Zenith. We are signing off for the day. You guys have a great afternoon, and we appreciate you, and we'll see you all soon.